South Africa's former parliament speaker has surrendered to police a day after resigning over corruption allegations.
Ms. Mapisa Ngakula has been at the heart of a political storm since investigators raided her home 2 weeks ago. A senior figure in the governing ANC party, she's accused of soliciting bribes during her time as defence minister. After resisting calls to resign, she finally capitulated last night, but insisted the move was in no way an admission of guilt. The case is at best embarrassing, at worst deeply damaging to the ANC, which polls predict faces a bruising election in less than 2 months' time.
The BBC's Jenny Hill. French President Macron dismissing as ridiculous remarks by Russia's defense minister, suggesting that Ukraine and France could have had a role in last month's deadly Moscow concert hall attack. Macron's remarks come a day after a phone call between the French and Russian defense ministers. Townhall.com. A Postal Service Inspector General's audit uncovers significant problems at a new regional processing facility in Virginia.
Damaged mail left unprocessed for months. The audit raises questions about the Postal Service's plans to modernize its processing network. The facility is the first of 60 planned regional processing centers that the U.S. Postal Service is launching nationwide to streamline operations and cut costs. But the audit found that work hours and overtime actually increased after the center opened. And the audit also found that problems at the Richmond Center, which opened in July, have contributed to a drop in on-time service that now finds Virginia ranked worst in the nation. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
NATO celebrating its 75th anniversary as the Russian war in Ukraine challenges its unity and resolve. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man on this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning, one and all. Welcome to Mornings with Mike Winters. I am he. That would be me, Mike Winters. Happy Thursday, everybody.
Yes, sir.
Made it to almost the end of the week.
The penultimate day of your work week and school week.
Gonna be a warm one today.
Tis.
In the 80s.
Yeah, still rocking the hoodie early, you know. Dress in layers.
T-shirt today. So.
Yeah.
But I have a coat, which I'll be shedding by lunchtime. So.
The New Mexico way.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, and I think it's a little breezy, but like tomorrow's supposed to get windier. So today's the better of the 2 days, I think, as far as weather goes here. But we'll see.
Yeah.
It's New Mexico. It'll say one thing and do something else. So.
We've slipped into that weird part of spring where all of a sudden things are kind of consistent, only to, get flipped on its ear next week.
That's right.
And so we have 1 week of consistency, as long as we can get that.
I guess this is our official spring, because I feel like in a month it'll be 90s every day.
Oh yeah. No,
Yeah.
trees are already starting to bud, like they're freaking out because then we get the cold snap and they're like, oh no, we came out too soon.
Yeah, could be worse. Up there in New York, they got like 2 feet of snow in April. So.
Oh yeah, that's true.
The tornado, that nor'easter that went through that part. Yeah, I know. I have family in Binghamton, New York.
Oh,
that's where my dad's originally from.
Upstate.
Yeah, and I was looking at the news yesterday, and their whole area was blanketed in white.
That's wild. That is, you know what? I'm going to say it. That's wiggity, wiggity, whack.
Yeah. But I remember growing up East Coast, And some of the worst snowstorms we ever got were like in March and April.
Lousy
It was always
March
late
weather.
winter. Like when we ever get like the big foot of snow, it was late in the winter, March. You know, it was like close to Easter, some of these.
Right.
And it's just like, wow. Yeah, those, growing up, some of the worst storms that we had in the region, they're always late winter, spring.
That's crazy late.
Yeah.
Like that's like maybe in the mountains you'll see a little bit of snow kind of late.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, no, not East Coast. It's
grab your
different.
sleds, kids. It's April.
It's different there than here.
That's true.
They get all-day rains and stuff.
Right. Speaking of grabbing sleds, I don't think it's going to happen. Well, it's definitely not going to happen this weekend because I have other plans. But we're trying to get the group to go to White Sands.
Okay.
I haven't been to White Sands in since I was a kid.
I was
I've
in the
been
military,
by
right?
there a lot, but I haven't actually been there in a
Yeah.
while. Is it legal to sled there?
Yeah.
Like, is it legal? Because I see it happen all the time.
Yeah, it's legal.
I just don't know if certain things you just cannot do out there.
Yeah, you can go.
You're not allowed. This is the other thing. I think we're past the where it'll be an issue.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to take gypsum from White Sands.
Yeah, you're not supposed to.
My dad took a whole bottle of it.
I'm sure him and hundreds of thousands of other people have too.
I'm pretty sure the statute of limitations expired on that one.
But they
yeah.
do frown upon that, yes.
It's,
But no, I used to see people sledding out there all the time. I've been out there a few times, but when I was in the military, I think it's the last time I've been out there. So it's been a bit of stretch.
Yeah, I think it was.
But yeah, back then they used to sled and all that down there.
I want to say we went when I was a sophomore in high school, and it's so weird because it's right there.
Yeah.
But I've never gone or haven't gone in my adult life.
You know what? I'll take it back. We drove out there with my sisters about 2016, 2017.
Okay.
Somewhere in that time frame. And but we didn't go sledding or nothing, but we
Right.
went out there and walked around and drove around and looked and got out and walked in the sand and read some signs and then, went to the Space Museum.
Right. Did all the stuff you're supposed to do.
Yeah, we didn't hang out.
Harvard on the Hill.
And if I remember right, that day it was really hot. Like it was a hot day.
Well,
and we were out there in the morning, and it was already in the upper 90s, and we're like, it's not too hot to be hanging out. It's White Sands, and
Right.
everything's hotter because it's all white
reflective.
sands. And so,
Yeah, it gets like 20 degrees hotter down there than it usually does here on
Yeah.
average. It's in the Alamogordo region.
Yeah, so we
It's
didn't
hot.
hang out too long. We were kind of like, let's go find air conditioning.
Yeah, that makes
Just to
sense.
Stuff our face. Yeah. We also went to Carlsbad Caverns that trip, too.
Nice.
So we went to the coldest and the hottest parts of New Mexico in the summer.
Well, when you're in that region with non-New Mexicaners, you kind of have to do the rounds of the known places.
Yeah.
Got to hit Carlsbad Caverns. Got to hit White Sands.
Well, now I have family where most of them have been there. So it's usually like, you want to go? Nah, let's go do something. All right, let's go. And so then you take them to a place like Lincoln or Fort Stanton or whatever.
I don't know the status of the elevator currently at.
One is working.
Is there one working?
One working, one is not.
So it's like our building.
Yes. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about our building.
No.
I have no idea what the cavern is.
That's fantastic.
I have no idea what the cavern's elevator
because
status
that's
is.
the if I'm gonna venture into the caverns, there ain't no way I'm taking the natural entrance back out.
Yeah, it's a hike to get out.
Yeah, the pitch on those
Well,
switchbacks.
Yeah. Imagine going to switchback.
Yeah, that's true. That would be safe. It would just like a staircase.
Yeah. Oh goodness. But but no. Now it's been years since I've been there, and the last time I was there, they had one elevator, but that was. I think Obama was still president, to be honest.
That was during the Clinton administration, if I remember correctly. If memory serves.
It was a while ago, so I haven't been there recently to give you a quality answer.
That
there.
is my favorite way to put a timestamp on something is to just be like, I didn't do that since the Obama administration, since that person was in office.
Yeah, I saw that during Nixon.
I think the last time I did that, Trump was president.
That's
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a while. So yeah. Well, happy Thursday. Hopefully you're having a wonderful day.
This has been maybe the longest week of the last 5 years of my adult life.
Has it?
Because I've been waiting. I've been waiting day by day for Friday to come so I can take these and throw them into a fire.
Yeah, he's got new glasses coming.
Oh, I'm so tired of looking through a cloud. It is
Good
it's so
deal. Well, hopefully they
annoying.
call you tomorrow and they
better.
They say. Because sometimes the glasses, you think, and then it's like, the shipment didn't come in today. We'll be here Monday.
Oh, you have no idea what you've just done. The levels of hell with which you have unleashed.
Yeah. And, of course, by the way, while we're talking about Friday, of course, this weekend they're having the car show in Artesia.
Yes.
The Main Street Car Show, their annual big fun car show there they usually do it there in the Heritage Plaza.
The Artesia Car Enthusiasts cruise and show. Yeah, we go down to Heritage Plaza. Friday night is the cruise. Saturday would be the actual car show itself.
Yeah, but Sean's going to be doing a doo-wop rock and roll style show tomorrow night
indeed.
on our... Yeah, it is tomorrow night, isn't it?
5:30 to 7:30. I'll be on AM 990 and 93.7 FM KSVP so that we can do some doo-wop music, 50s, 60s, and 70s.
Yeah.
And we'll have the request line open so you can call in your requests.
Yeah. Ask Sean to do his best Wolfman Jack.
That's right. I even cut the promo kind of like, hey, out there, all you cats and kitties out there in Radio Land. It's the smooth voice of the radio. Yeah.
That's right. You got to puke it out.
That's it.
But he's going to have some fun starting tomorrow evening with that there. And so if you're participating in the cruise, tune in. Sean will keep you entertained as you cruise up and down Main Street.
Get your requests in. I'll be playing like Shaboom.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
You know, a lot of 50 stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Just go watch the movie Grease and pick half them songs. It'd be good to go.
Yeah, pretty much.
Except the doo-wop, doo-wop. No, you don't need that one. But, you know, the other one.
Beauty School Dropout. Yeah.
Hand jive.
Oh, jive. Jive. You said jive. Okay.
Yes, watch the movie.
Just for clarification, I was like, when did that happen? I've seen that movie a few times. I don't remember getting
It was a dance sign. The dance scene, the hand jive.
Do-wop.
Hand jive, yeah. And then Sean and I was playing. Yeah. I've seen the movie a few times. More than I probably care to admit. I've seen a few times. So.
Mike just has trouble admitting he's seen musicals.
I've seen a couple musicals, and I've seen them 50 times. I haven't seen a lot of musicals, but the ones I've seen a bunch.
It's funny when you get tricked into a musical.
Yeah.
Like, there's a couple that you didn't see it coming. South Park, specifically Bigger, Longer, and Uncut.
Yeah.
You go in there, you're like, oh, this is going to be great. It's South Park. This is a musical? This is a good musical?
And I can deal with it if it's just one song here or there. But when the entire play is a song, I'm out.
So just a quick word of warning to you. Now, I know that you're totally the target demo for this.
Yeah.
The Mean Girls reboot they just put out.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, it is a musical.
Spoiler
they
alert.
don't say that.
Spoiler alert, I have no desire to see that.
I know.
I don't even think I've seen the first one, to be honest.
Oh, see, that's a shame.
I think I've seen maybe parts of it, but I couldn't tell you anything about Mean Girls other than they're Mean Girls.
It's a good movie. I will say the original, great. Quality, great cast, decent writing. And Tina Fey is involved with this new one too.
Yeah.
But it's just, I don't know, man. Something about it. Plus the fact that it's a musical.
Well, I think it's not for you. It's for,
no. I'm totally not the target demo. I'm aware.
It's for teenage girls.
But that's what I'm asking.
20-something girls.
Who is this for? Because if you go back and look at it, people who are a fan of the original Mean Girls are in their 30s now, 40s now. You know, they're older.
Yeah.
This movie is specifically a teen movie. So it's like, I guess it's for the kids of those people.
I guess to take your teenage daughters to or something.
I don't know.
Reminisce together. I remember this movie when I was a teenager. I don't know. It's to me, the whole Mean Girls thing doesn't, I'm like, isn't that like a movie about everything that society's against now? Like,
kind of,
bullies,
But it's, I will say the original at least. Yeah, while it leans towards that, it's not about the mean girls. It's about one girl who is basically trying to fight against this group of mean girls.
Okay.
Essentially.
So it's a
by becoming one.
Oh. You can't beat them, join them.
That's right.
Okay. All right.
It's like Taken, but with a lot more pink.
Gotcha. Well, unless my wife has a desire to see it, it'll never hit my radar. So I will skip right past that on Paramount.
Oh, I guess
Plus.
you haven't seen the Pitch Perfect movies either, huh?
Actually, I have seen some of them. I don't think I've seen all of them.
Okay. I got drugged to the theater to watch Pitch Perfect 3.
Yeah. I don't think I've seen any of 3. I think I've seen 1 and 2.
3 was really good. The first one I think is the best.
They're all the same to me.
They're basically the same movie. But I'm also a huge fan of a cappella groups. You know, I like a cappella singing. So
I liked the mocking of it to a bit, like because it does. I mean, they do really perform well,
right?
But there is a bit of a mocking of it, and that part I embrace.
Like the Adam Devine character.
Yeah,
and all that,
it's a little, stereotypical.
Nods towards it.
That's right. All right, let me get the rundown. We got to get going. I just saw the time here. We're going to replay our interview we had with Robert Sherman from the Walker Aviation Museum. He joined us, I believe, on Tuesday in the 8 o'clock hour, so we'll play that for you here just a bit. In the 8 o'clock hour, around 8:15, we're going to replay our interview we had last week with Jim Tucker, Skywarn Weather Coordinator for Chavez County. They've got another spotter training class coming up on the 16th, so we'll play that interview for you. And then Crystal Noble with the Humane Society will join us for a visit in the 9 o'clock hour to give us an update on pets looking for good homes and what's going on at the thrift store and all that good stuff. So
very good.
And then we'll do all the newses of the local and national variety. I said it, newses, and whatever else we can come up with for today's show.
But you also said variety, so
I did.
You changed it up.
So I'm an enigma. What are you gonna do?
Just keep us guessing.
That's right. 7:19. Here's your weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Get ready for some pretty gusty winds starting tomorrow and through the weekend. We have a low-pressure trough moving into the area. No rain with that. Low 80s and fairly calm wind today. We'll be getting sunshine, clear and mid-40s for the overnight hours. And then tomorrow, mostly sunny, mid-80s, and wind gusting to about 45 miles an hour. Will stay very windy through the weekend. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 41 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity's at 47%. Winds currently out of the northeast at 7 miles per hour. Sunny and a high of 83 today. Northwest winds 5 to 10 this morning, 10 to 15 miles per hour out of the south this afternoon. Mostly clear tonight. Expect an overnight low of 44 degrees. South winds 10 to 15 miles per hour, decreasing 5 to 10 after midnight tonight. For you Friday, sunny, another warm day, 83 for a high again, but the winds will be picking up. Out of the south early, 5 to 15 miles per hour. Later in the afternoon, increasing 15 to 25. Gusting as high as 35 miles per hour. Friday night, mostly clear. Overnight low of 49 degrees. Winds remain breezy out of the south, 15 to 25. Gusting as high as 35 miles per hour. Then looking at the weekend, Saturday, going to be windy. Patchy blowing dust for the afternoon. Sunny, cooler, high of only 66. Winds will be blowing out of the west, 20 to 25, increasing 30 to 35. Could see wind gusts as high as 45 miles per hour Saturday afternoon. Sunday, we're looking at sunny skies and a high of 73, and then sunny and 78 when you head back to work on Monday. And then looks like rain chances Tuesday and into Wednesday of next week, 20 to 30% chance as of right now. We'll see how that shapes up. All right, 7:21, we're going to take a 2-minute break. Then we're going to play our interview with Robert Sherman from the Walker Aviation Museum. Don't go away.
Sign up today for the 2-day Reload Camp with Coach Tom George, Saturday and Sunday, April 13th and 14th in Artesia, New Mexico.
The goal of Reload is to take our camp to locations that don't always have a lot of opportunities.
The 2-day Reload Camp is for all ages, all positions, and features college, NFL, and local coaches.
They do it because they want to impact young people. I'm not saying every professional and college coach is like that, but the ones that come to my camp are, because I don't have it any other way.
Saturday and Sunday, April 13th and 14th in Artesia, New Mexico. Sign up today at QBimpact.com.
Attention high school students and parents of high school students. Do you want to visit Eastern New Mexico University from the comfort of your own home? Then plan on attending the ENMU Virtual Open House on Saturday, April 20th, starting at 10 a.m. You can get a virtual tour of campus, talk virtually with current students, and win great prizes. Sign up today at enmu.edu/open house. Eastern New Mexico University. Student success. That's what we're about. You don't have to live with a non-healing wound. The Wound Care and Hyperbaric Medicine Center at Artesia General Hospital provides compassionate care to people experiencing chronic or complicated wounds. Led by certified family nurse practitioner Rochelle McIntyre, our wound care team will work with you to build your customized treatment plan. Podiatrist Jennifer Chow and Joseph Krupa also specialize in lower limb wound care. And we are proud to have state-of-the-art hyperbaric oxygen chambers, a proven treatment that promotes successful healing. Visit artesiageneral.com/wound to learn more.
At Richland Motors, it's never been easier to sell or trade your current car, truck, or SUV for a newer model to hit the road in. Even if you don't purchase from Richland, they want to buy your vehicle for top dollar. But if you do buy from Richland, don't forget, they're the home of the powertrain warranty for life. That's a whole lot of confidence for you. See Richland for details. 2nd and Sycamore and 1309 Southeast Main.
Yeah, talk a little
Here's
history.
a Mornings with Mike
Good deal.
Winters.
Thank you, sir, as always.
Thank you.
There
We'll
are
see y'all next month. And
293 ways to make change for $1. Try all 293 on the guy who keeps borrowing money from you. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 21 minutes after 8 o'clock. And joining us in studio this morning from the Walker Aviation Museum, Robert Sherman back with us. Good morning, sir. How you doing today?
Okay, Mike.
Doing good?
Doing good.
Good. How's life at the museum this morning?
Well, I don't know yet.
You're about to head out that way afterwards.
I'm heading out there in a minute.
For folks that are not familiar, the Walker Aviation Museum is located inside the air terminal at the airport, at the Air Center. And if you're not familiar, many moons ago, that whole part of Roswell was initially Roswell Army Airfield, and then later Walker Air Force Base. And of course, it was closed down in 67 during brat closures and all that. So, but it had that base served a major role in World War II as a training base for bombing crews and things like that. Also, this area of the country was those early ICBMs, the first generation ones. They called Roswell home here before they got a little better with the technology and started advancing to the Titan and Minuteman missiles and stuff. But those early Atlas, they were here at home or here in Roswell. But the museum really focuses on the history of the Cold War, the role that we served in the Cold War, and of course, the Walker Air Force Base, Roswell Army Airfield. So that's what the museum's for, and it's really cool. If you've never got a chance to go in there, I highly recommend you make a trip down to the airport and go check it out. So
yeah, actually, in about the last couple of years, we've kind of increased our mission or expanded our mission to careers.
Yes, STEM
kids.
and youth education.
So that's
and
about
that kind
half
of thing.
of what we do, but as you walk in there, it's all the history stuff. So you're right. Like World War II, like you mentioned, we trained about 14,000 students that were either advanced pilots, the multi-engine aircraft, like the AT-11 aircraft.
Okay.
We just recently got a model of that, so we're going to put it up front and you can take a look at that. But then also bombardier training. So that's where you had all these little concrete bombs or sand field bombs scattered around.
And I'm
guessing
guessing
on these ranches out here. And
yeah,
stuff.
or like if you do the Google Maps thing.
Yeah.
The Google Earth, I think there is. If you look on those, there's one of the bombing ranges, and if you look, there's like a swastika,
right?
Like made in the stone and stuff, and that was back from that time period. They, when they were bombing and practicing, and there's that's how we're gonna get the Jerry's and all that kind of stuff. So when you do Google Earth and you see that, people wonder why there's a swastika in the middle of the desert. It's because that was a bombing range, and our bombardiers and stuff were training, and little incentive to hit the target.
Yeah, besides the swastikas, they had outlines of boats and outlines of different other things they would use as a target. They're going after things like that. So,
but you can kind of see some of the remnants of that on Google Earth if you look it up.
Yeah, that's cool. We've got a new phone number. It's 575, of course, 755 USAF. Or 8723. So you can if you can remember this, normal area code, if you can just remember the 755, and then it's United States Air Force, USAF, which is 8723, and that's our new phone number. And so we're normally open right now. The planes are taking off about 11:55 in the morning. They have a really early flight, and we don't go out there for that, but we try to get out there about 9:30, 9:45 until about 12.
Not a big demand for museum scene at 6 in the morning.
No. Well, a lot of the people there that would have
probably the people that get on a plane.
But we just have volunteers only, and I haven't found anybody yet that wanted to get up and go out there at 6. And
I think to
hours.
do that, you'd have to guarantee a free burrito or something. Yeah, you'd have to. Yeah, there's a hot burrito waiting for you if you do go.
They do good burritos.
They do have good food. I've eaten it a couple times out there, but yeah, it does work around the flight schedule, and then obviously because I think Americans kind of scale back their flying times out there, so little less flights going out. So really, that lunchtime every day during the week is kind of the sweet spot for the museum being open.
Yeah. So it's again about 9:45 to about 12 or so, Monday through Friday. We're not open on Saturday right now, but we've got volunteer Stephen Miller goes out on Wednesdays, and Allie Bishop goes out on Thursdays.
Awesome.
Then Bob Donnell and I trade off on who's going to do Monday, Tuesday, and Fridays. So.
Okay. Well, look, by the way, looking for more volunteers if you'd like to serve as a docent or many of the other different ways. There's lots of different ways you can get involved. Please reach out to Robert or through the website here.
Yeah, if you're interested, we're kind of picking up some new board members. Right now, it's myself, Allie Bishop, Katie Yates, Sandy Correa, she's the president, and Bob Donnell, Juliana Halverson, Judy Armstrong passed away, unfortunately.
Yeah, we lost Judy.
One of our main folks.
She was such a huge, even outside of Walker Aviation,
she was the president
college,
of college
she was a treasure for our community.
Jerry Cloffer, Friar Jarek Nowaki, Stephen Miller, Doug Weiser. Doug's going to be our new president coming up in here in September.
Okay.
Well, whenever our changes, I think.
Is that congratulations or condolences? I'm not sure how I would always do those.
Right now, he's hobbling around on some crutches, so we can call him old four legs. But, Peggy Bolin, of course.
Who you'll hear next hour with Camp Invention, by the way, but different hat, but
is she
same
here
person.
Coming?
She'll be in the 9 o'clock hour.
Oh, really?
Talking about Camp Invention. So.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Peggy's a great addition to our group. And then Josh Bootson is on our advisory board. He's just maybe going to become a member here, but he works out with the county, employment area at the university there.
Oh, okay. I know.
Yeah. I didn't get the name written down here, probably correct, but so he'll beat me up next time.
Like the EDC out there, or whatever they call it. Yeah.
Right now, our mission, just for your audience sake, it's to educate and inspire all generations concerning the history and legacy of Walker Air Force Base, and encourage our youth to explore careers in science, technology, engineering, and math, with an emphasis on aviation. So that's why we try to get some. Unfortunately, it's a fairly small setup we have out there. We only have 2 flight simulators, thanks to XL Energy.
I'd say only. That's still a lot more than a lot of places have like that.
And they're really nice simulators. They fly 50 different aircraft, and they can land at anywhere, any place in the world.
And they actually can. So if you have an aspiration of obtaining a pilot's license, those simulators actually, the training hours on that count towards your flying hours and everything towards your license.
Yeah.
So if you're needing that kind of stuff, reach out to the museum, and they can help out with that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But we have students come out. We need to get about a week's in advance notice to get some volunteers to come out and work with the kids, and we get them on the flight simulators for about half of them and we get in groups of 8 is ideal, but 12 we can handle, but 8 is better. And so sometimes when academic groups come out, they come out and half of them may go over to AirCell or go to the university, while the other half comes through our program.
Okay.
And then they kind of meet at lunchtime and change positions.
Then flop, and one goes to the other, and the other comes back here.
That kind of thing.
Gotcha. But, please reach out. You do stuff like that for groups all the time, and be happy to set up special tours or special events for youth groups or any church groups, whatever like that.
As a matter of fact, we got a new business card, and it's kind of emphasizing, has our new phone number on it, and also emphasizing the career part, that we get people coming through the museum and we ask them, got any kids? Number one question. Yeah. How old are your kids? If they're between like 13 and 18, then we really get up and get excited about giving them a card and tell them to go to our website, because we've got a lot of good stuff, whether they're from New Mexico or Artesia or from Connecticut or wherever they're from.
Sure.
They can go on the website, and we've got a lot of information there for. You can actually on your smartphone touch on all our particular YouTubes that we show when people come out, and we're showing half of the group like 12 or 13 YouTubes on different careers, while the other half are doing the flight simulators. Well, you can actually access those right on the website under education and touch those, and they'll play for you. And also there's some other things they can do. They can go down on our website after you touch education and look for 3 colored photos of us working with the kids. And right above that, there's a comprehensive list of STEM jobs, quote unquote, there. And you touch that, and you go to another website, which is called ONET Online. And that's occupationalnetworkonline.org.
Okay.
ONETonline.org. And our card has this also, and it's also on the website.
Yeah, so make sure you pick up one of these cards when you're at the museum.
Yeah.
And it's got all the links to all these websites that you're talking about here.
Yeah, that comprehensive list is 331 STEM jobs listed alphabetically.
Well, and and obviously this list is very broad, and it covers outside the aviation industry and oil field. It's stuff even you see around here. But I would even argue, the aviation industry, you look at the world we're looking at right now, and you hear the delays and the issues that are going on. This is still an employment COVID thing, I think. I think, when COVID hit, they lost a bunch of pilots and air traffic controllers, and a lot of experience just retired at that
both
point.
Both of those are big shortages.
Yeah.
All those.
And so we're still playing catch up, trying to get, and they're getting bodies in, but they can't get them trained fast enough. And you're hearing about issues and things happen at airports all over the country. And I blame that on the fact that we're still understaffed, and they're still trying to get qualified people to do these
jobs. The reason
jobs.
they don't have a flight to Phoenix is American Airlines.
Yeah, they don't have
doesn't have the pilots.
Yeah. And so young folks, the world is your oyster in this industry. If you like it and want to pursue it, there's a lot of opportunities for success here. Just because you're catching it at a time where they really need more qualified people in the industry. So
yeah, there's a shortage of doctors. I just saw on the TV the other day that they estimate in about 10 years from now they're going to be about 30,000 short of veterinarians.
Whoa!
So I mean, it's just a lot of great jobs, but it does take some schooling.
Absolutely.
Hopefully you can get some.
But if you want to learn the path to that,
yeah,
museums got some links and some information to help you do that. So
this particular website, ONET Online, it actually lists 1,040 jobs. The other one, it just accesses the STEM stuff. But with that, you go to that website, and there's I think 3 20-question quizzes, 60 questions. And you take the exam and you just answer, real simply what the question was. And then at the end of that, it gives you a list of jobs that you may want to pursue based on your
interest.
Testing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of part of what that particular ONET Online does, besides just listing.
Kind of like our
all
ASVABs
types
for
of
those
jobs.
folks back in the day when you had to take that to get in the military.
Yeah. Absolutely. And our flight simulators, like I mentioned, this Lockheed software, and sometimes you get the pilots come in and it's set up for 173 Cessna, and they go, oh, okay, fine. I said, well, you could select, 747 and select Istanbul, Turkey, and select the land there at night in the rain. And they go, oh, really?
You get any of the guys that they fly smaller aircraft or, like Cessnas and stuff, and they're like, I want to be in an F-22 or I want to be in an F-16 or something. I want to be on a military fighter because that's a whole different animal flying one of those than flying a Cessna.
It's interesting, though, that my sister's son came down and was flying simulators, and he was flying around New York. And he said, well, this building isn't actually on this area, it's over here on the other side. I said, yeah, but ever since 9/11, they don't make it totally accurate. So terrorists could sit down.
Makes sense.
And get exactly
you can't use
where
it
to
as
fly
a
and where to crash into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't use it as a guidebook to do terror. Yeah. That makes sense that they alter it slightly for that very reason.
Yeah.
So.
Another thing that comes up, and it's kind of off the subject in a way, but for all you Goddard high school kids out there or teachers or whatever. We come in and we talk about during the Cold War, during the Cuban Missile Crisis, we had, bombers on alert, and we had 12 Atlas missile silos, and missiles were on alert all around Roswell. So Roswell was a pretty key target, and so people are interested in, okay, that's interesting. And I said, well, they decided to build a second major high school here in Roswell. It was Goddard High School, in the north part of town. If you go up there, drive by, it looks pretty normal. I said, what you're seeing is admin areas and maybe the gym and stuff like that. But all the classrooms you take 2 flights of stairs, it's all underground. And even down in there, they had decontamination showers and everything. And they go, seriously? I said, yep. I said, that's a sign that was built around 1965, and that was a sign of the Cold War, and while Roswell was right in the middle of it.
My high school was very much the same thing. It was built in 66 or 68. It was right around that same time. And, it had a whole basement underground that was, in essence, for fallout shelter. And but in the 80s there, we were using it as classrooms down there. But
and a lot of people, when they didn't know that, and they kind of like, wow, that's really interesting.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, you don't. And to be honest, when you see other schools built in around that same era all around the country, odds are it's for the exact same reason. It was a fallout shelter, Cold War era. This was back in the days where you see those old footage of the kids getting under the desk in the classrooms and all their fallout training and all that. That's the era of which all that was going on. So that you're right. It's a cool little piece of history that you don't realize. It's like, well, there's a little darker secret side of what you're seeing here. And that's pretty cool.
I'm going to meet with Brian Luck here in time, just kind of out of courtesy. I worked with him before, and Jennifer Cole works with academics.
Yes,
but
assistant superintendent of academics.
And her husband is the city manager.
Is the city manager? Yes.
Yeah,
Chad.
So anyway, we have this new little business card that came out, and it lists all this stuff for careers and everything. And what we're going to do is, of course, coordinate through Brian, and I've already coordinated a little bit with Jennifer Cole, but we're going to give a card to every principal of the middle schools and the high schools. There's 4 middle schools in Roswell, and there's, as far as the Roswell school system, and there's 4 high schools. And we're going to give the principals each a card and each teacher a card. So that's going to be almost 300 or 400 cards.
Yeah.
But that way we kind of encourage them to have this information, and they can post it or make prints of it.
And they see some students that kind of gravitate towards these interests.
All those kids, middle school and high school, are kids that are kind of looking toward, what am I going to do as a career? And this is what we really have focused on a lot.
And there's a lot of cool careers in the STEM career field, stuff that I think kids, when they see it in action,
they see it, they go, seriously?
Yeah, this is awesome. And so you just gotta lead them to the water a little bit. They'll drink.
You have that one place on our website, like I said, 331 STEM jobs listed alphabetically. As you run down those, you go, wow, I didn't realize there was a job called that.
STEM is so impacted in everything that's science and engineering and math. It touches almost every aspect of your life, and you don't even realize.
And for the Roswell kids, when I say kids, I apologize. Youth, young adults, whatever. On our website, under education, on our website, after you get down some stuff, you come across some professional pilot training. There's 38 videos of kind of ground school.
Okay.
And it totals up 12 hours of training. And if you watch this, I guarantee you're going to be a pretty jump ahead if you jump into some pilot training. But as you continue, we have a list of a lot of other career YouTubes and aircraft ones that you have to kind of look up yourself. You can't just touch them and play. But we do have all the 12 or so that we use when the kids come in that you can just touch on your cell phone and play it. But also we have a list of alphabetically 480 jobs that we pulled out of 3 phone books in the Roswell region that are kind of STEM oriented.
Gotcha.
So they can find
all
out
jobs
like,
that they don't even have to leave town to.
So we kind of list those out for them so they can kind of, hey, I'll check that out.
And that's great too, because in the big scheme of things, we want to keep our young people here. That's That's not uncommon for youth to go and get there and then go off to Texas or wherever. And so I think that's important that we're saying, you know what? There's great STEM built family supporting careers that are right here in Roswell. Now, if you want to travel, the world's your oyster. But if you want to stay close to home with family, you can do that through these career fields. It's possible.
Yeah. We also work with Sidney Gutierrez Charter School, Gateway School, Emmanuel Lutheran Middle School, All Saints Catholic, the Assurance Home, Civil Air Patrol, Experimental Aircraft Association, Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, Youth Challenge, NIMI, Job Corps, various other stuff. And, of course, Hagerman, Dexter, they're always welcome. But anyway, that's kind of some of the things we do there.
Yeah.
By the way, I want to give some people that have helped us out recently. Well, first of all, thanks to our supporters financially in the last 12 months or the previous years, Pioneer Bank, Featherstone Development, Glenn's Furniture, Six Bomb Wing, Reunion Group, David Petroleum, Joe Murray before he left, XL Energy, Roswell Toyota, and, Aircell. These have all been really good supporters.
Absolutely.
Phil Cathy, Dr. Engstrom, Lloyd Hughes, some other folks. But other people have helped out. Haven Seals updating our inventory. Nolan Fulkerson helping with the Range Museum for Best Effects. Peggy Donnell, Scott Stark when he was director of the Air Center helped us out. Jenna Lanfor, Steve Griffin. He's donated and mounted some of the professional weather equipment that we have and did some electrical work for us. And Steve Griffin, Jim Williams, and Bob Donnell got 5 4x8 pegboards and put them on the south wall. It was kind of interesting when we put those up because we were using nail guns, and TSA kind of got excited.
Tend to get them a little nervous over there.
Yeah. And Ron Lynch, bless his heart, he we thought about calling it the Roswell Aviation Museum and the Roswell Aviation and Ron Lynch Museum. No. But he put together a bicycle that kids can get on and pedal and generates electricity, and a light comes on and a fan comes on.
Yeah.
And Jacob's Ladder. We still show that to little kids. It's a 10,000 watt generator that with lightning that moves up between 2 rods. Yeah. They pull down the switch and this lightning moves up the thing.
Like a little ladder.
So I get these little
Jacob's
kids
ladder.
that are, maybe 6 years, 8 years old, and say, hey, come over here, hit that switch and push that. And they, oh, wow, that's really cool.
It is kind of cool. Yeah.
And then we got some little rubber airplanes that are in a flat sheet, and they break loose and stick them all together and put a dime in the nose, and it's a little airplane they can fly. So
cool.
We give those out to kids. But anyway, Ron recently put together a really nice Redstone missile with a mercury capsule on the top, really authentic, and with a nice write-up, and then B-25 bomber, B-29, and an AT-11. That's kind of the main trainer they used in World War II. So he's just finishing doing all that. We really appreciate that help.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's the museum would not be with us if it wasn't for the volunteers and the people that do their part to help in whatever way, either it's financially or physically. Sweat equity here a little bit or a little bit of both. We greatly appreciate all those folks, and we'll need more in the future to keep it going too. Just it doesn't stop. They're always growing, and like you said, the mission statement really has been altered over the last years to kind of incorporate the more education youth side of not just celebrating the history, but also fostering the next generation of aviation industry and STEM related careers too.
Yeah. So if you're listening to this program, obviously you're not a teacher, that's all, everybody's in school, but if you're a parent that's got a kid in that 13 to 18-year-old range, just have kids check at school and get that website, wafbmuseum.org.
Yep, that's the main, and there you can go if you'd like to volunteer, serve on the board, or as a docent, you can do that. If you'd like to make monetary donations, there is a link you can donate money directly to if you want to.
I don't think it's still working with the Amazon.
No, Amazon Smile, they dump that, and I think they're, from what I hear, they revamping it, but I haven't heard anything new on that. And that's all across Amazon. It's not just Walker. It's all of the Smile program that they did. So
some of the things that that your kids can get on their smartphone if under our website, under education. As you go down there, you can click on like no regrets and how to choose a college major. It's kind of how you come up with a Venn diagram. And then some other things you can watch is careers in aviation, Eastern New Mexico University Roswell Aviation Maintenance and Technician Program, a day in the life of a wind turbine engineer, Crumlin Auto Group and Eastern New Mexico University Roswell Auto Mechanic Program. These are all on YouTube that you can just play around on your phone. Energy,
that's a great program, by the way.
Energy Careers, Career Cluster, and Industry Video Series, Oil Well Worker Career Video. What does a registered nurse do? And we have some Air Force ones, U.S. Air Force, Aerospace Ground Equipment, Air Traffic Control, Electronic Principles, Geospatial Intelligence. And the last one is a day in the life of CIA, 6 hiring areas.
Nice.
So
you said Aerospace Ground Equipment. That hit some memories for me.
I bet you did,
the age guys. For those that don't know, that's a fancy term for your support equipment, like power units, air units. When you work on aircraft, you need to put power on the aircraft. You need to put air, cooling air on the aircraft, or you need to put hydraulics on the aircraft. There's guys that service and are responsible for the equipment that allows you to do that. They're the aerospace ground people. That's what that is. If you look at like civilian airlines and stuff, they're the guys that are driving the food carts and all the support equipment that they're using to get the aircraft turned into the next. So when they're hooking up the power in the air, sometimes you see that happening. Yeah. That's all the age guys doing all that stuff. Yeah. So that's what that job is. So, in case you're curious. and in the military, age guys can be your best friend or your worst enemy. It just depends on how nice you are to them.
Tell you what, if I was, a person flying on those airplanes, it's amazing some of the history. A lot of people don't realize. The Marines made huge sacrifices in World War II, but there was more airmen killed flying the B-17s and stuff over Germany during World War II than there were Marines killed in the South Pacific.
Have you seen?
It was so deadly.
Yes.
It was so amazing that's why they limited it to 25 missions.
If
you assume you survived 25 missions.
And then some of those got extended depending on the time. But, that reminds me, I wanted to ask you this. It's on Apple Plus, so it's not a lot of people.
My daughter.
Oh, it is excellent.
Yeah.
The Masters of the Air, I've watched all of that. It is, to me, like there's movies out there, the Memphis Belle and a couple other movies that kind of focus on B-17 combat.
Mm-hmm.
This, by far, is done, and it's Band of Brothers. So if you know Band of Brothers, it's all that.
Yeah.
But as far as like giving you an idea of conditions in a B-17 for these guys, this, to me, did the best job of expressing that.
Showing you what you went through.
Showing like there's one scene where the tail gunner, he's sitting in the tail there monitoring, and I guess he's got to make some notes or something, so he takes his gloves off to write notes. Well, as he's doing that, Germans income. And so he instinctively drops his pad and grabs the gun to shoot. He doesn't have his gloves on. It's sub-zero up there.
Probably 20, 30 below zero.
He basically froze his hands and got major frostbite just because he grabbed the gun without his gloves. And you don't really see that in other movies. And this kind of explains some of what the conditions were actually like in a B-17 for these guys. And so to me, it's excellent. It's well done.
Yeah.
Very good. If you get a chance, I'd highly recommend you check it out.
Yeah. I do that. And as a matter of fact, I was going to mention some books that I've read recently, but Countdown 1945, this is by Chris Wallace, was the #1 bestseller. That's talking about the coming up on Hiroshima.
Oh, yeah.
The Enola Gay, this was by Gordon Thomas and Max Witz. It was written in 1977.
Folks don't know that's one of the planes that dropped the first bomb on Japan.
And then Boxcar dropped the other one. Mm-hmm. But World War II-100 is ranking the most influential figures of the Second World War by Howard Langer, and it's copyright 2002, and it's about 2.5 to 3 pages per person, and they rank them from number 1 all the way down, so.
That's cool.
It's kind of interesting. You run into some people that were involved with World War II that you maybe weren't that familiar with, and they did a lot of important stuff. So.
Yeah, that's you don't realize the unsung heroes until later, but
yeah, I remember taking one tour, like you said, in a B-17 that was stuck out on a display somewhere in some airport, and I just imagining being there with no pressurization, temperature like 30 below zero. If you got wounded, I mean, sorry, you're just going to be in there.
Sitting in metal seats. That, so you wonder why they're dressed in head to toe in the big leather coats and the thing. It's because it's so cold up there, and it's not pressurized cabins, and they touch any metal, bare skin, they're going to freeze to it.
And if you got shot down, you have to try to get out of the airplane.
Oh, yeah.
Under all kinds of terrible conditions.
And they really
like
and
ejection seats, no ejection seats.
And that's the thing. Now the actual Band of Brothers, or the Masters of the Air, which is the third, they follow the Bloody 100, the 100th fighter wing, which if you look at statistics, they took some of the heaviest casualties of the bomber groups during World War II. They, like there was one mission where they sent out like 30 bombers and like 2 came back. In one particular mission. It's that they were that decimated. So it was very, like you were talking about the 25 missions.
Oh yeah,
that's such a feat. You don't realize how big a deal it is to go up there and back down 25 times.
Psychologically, things were so bad they needed to give people an idea that there was a light somewhere down the
end
of the tunnel.
Because these guys, mental health was a huge factor here, and they're all 18-year-old kids. You know what I mean? And it's that's just why we talk about Greatest Generation, and we talk about the deeds that our World War II veterans done and all that. And they went above and beyond on some of this stuff. So, but yeah, I highly recommend you check it out if you get a chance. It's definitely worth it.
I guess I got to figure out how to get the Apple on my.
Yeah, that's it. You got to buy the Apple Plus app.
Okay, just get that on.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah, and it's like, I got it free when I bought an iPad a couple years ago. Now I pay like $8 a month or whatever it is.
You watch it on regular TV?
Yeah, it's like if you have a smart TV or something. Smart. Yeah, you just usually it's an app on there, or if you have you can download
everything else on there, but I'll just have to find the Apple app
and
put it on.
And while you got it, there's a couple other good things to check out too. There's right now they're doing a series called Manhunt, and it's a TV series about the whole assassination of Lincoln and the hunt for John Wilkes Booth. And they did a real good job, and it's Hollywoodized. It's not like a documentary. It's a TV show basically with character. You know what I mean? It's not like there's not a narrator or anything. It's a scripted show, but it's basically on the.
By the way, when you come out to our museum, we usually when I'm out there, not everybody else, but I show this YouTube that's called the Enola Gay B-29. You can find it on YouTube. It's an hour and 28 minutes long. So that's kind of know you're on the right one. It's, the bomber that dropped the atomic bomb, and it's a long history of the, Paul Tibbets and how he became a pilot rather than a doctor, and what he did, and all bringing up, and then how they modified the B-29, and he decided to take all the guns out except for the tail gun and drop 7,000 pounds out of the airplane. And once he was in that condition, he could actually outmaneuver P-47 fighters.
Oh, wow.
So that's what he used in the Silver Plate atomic bomb. They would fly a little higher, and they could be a lot more maneuverable. And but anyway, it's just kind of interesting talking about that. And
it is neat. It's neat to check out, and I highly recommend you check out some of these videos.
The design, the B-29 had a lot of maintenance issues to begin with the engines overheating and stuff.
Well, they were cranking these out quick to get them ready for the war, and whenever you get stuff out quick, there tends to be, a few bugs you have to work out.
So go to YouTube and check out the Enola Gay B-29 Super Fortress, an hour and 28 minutes long. Gary Sinise does the narration.
Ah, very good. And of course, he's a big proponent for veterans and veterans issues.
Oh, yeah.
He's all over everything.
Yeah.
WAFBmuseum.org is the website for Walker Air Force Base Museum. Come check that out if you want to read more and read all the stuff we're talking about here, or if you want to get more involved. If you'd, like you said, Monday through Friday between 9 and about noon or so, the museum's open each day during the flying schedule.
About 9:30.
About the base, about 9:30.
Yeah.
If you get there a little early, get your burrito.
Yeah, get your burrito.
Yeah. And have a nice little meal before you get in there.
Yeah.
And then we would love to see you come out and check out the museum and see what it's all about. And who knows, bring your bring your youngins in and let's get them on some of this STEM stuff. And who knows, maybe this lights the fire and they become a pilot or a air traffic controller or an engineer that designs the next B whatever out there.
Yeah, Peggy Brolin brought in her science class out of her Catholic school.
Okay.
And they were the last ones to fly the simulators.
Oh, nice.
Stuff like that, so.
Well, good deal. So please come check it out and come get involved. WAFBmuseum.org is the website. Walker Air Force Base also museum has a Facebook page. You can like and follow that and ask questions if you have any questions about anything there.
I think next month Doug Weezer will probably be here. And if I'm on, for follow-on, I'll try to do like I've done in the past, pick out some subject of history, and we'll talk about it.
Yeah, talk a little history with it.
Yep.
Too. So, well, good deal. Well, thank you, sir, as always.
Thank you.
We'll see y'all next month, and appreciate what y'all do.
Appreciate you guys.
Anytime.
Now for your Pecos Valley News Update. I'm Jared Cirillo. Thanks for joining us this hour. Here's a look at some of the stories we're following. During Tuesday's Artesia City Council meeting, Councilor Wade Nelson reminded the public that there are currently 9 job openings at the Artesia Police Department, and he also said the committee has voted to unfreeze 3 of 6 other open positions in the Artesia Fire Department. And a reminder, there will be the Permian Basin celebration coming up on June 15th this year. The Roswell Chavez County Office of Emergency Management and the Pecos Valley Amateur Radio Club are hosting the annual Skywarn Storm Spotter training. That's scheduled for April 16th at the Daniels Leadership Center, 100 West 19th Street in Roswell on the New Mexico Military Institute campus. The free class is taught by National Weather Service meteorologists. It's open to anyone wanting to become a storm spotter. Students will learn severe weather safety, terminology, and reporting criteria. You're up to date. I'm Jared Cirillo.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Get ready for some pretty gusty winds starting tomorrow and through the weekend. We have a low-pressure trough moving into the area. No rain with that. Low 80s and fairly calm wind today. We'll be getting sunshine, clear and mid-40s for the overnight hours. And then tomorrow, mostly sunny, mid-80s, and wind gusting to about 45 miles an hour. Will stay very windy through the weekend. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. After drawing down the nation's emergency oil reserves to a 40-year low, President Biden has hit the brakes on replenishing the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. Bloomberg reports the about-face comes as crude prices surge once again. It's Trump leading Biden in a half-dozen battleground states, a new Wall Street Journal poll.
The poll shows Trump with a lead of between 2 and 8 percentage points among voters in Pennsylvania, Michigan, Arizona, Georgia, Nevada, and North Carolina. In Wisconsin, the president was ahead by 3 points on a multiple candidate ballot and tied in a head-to-head contest with Trump. According to the Journal, respondents gave negative views of Joe Biden's job performance and have ongoing concerns about the economy. Greg Clugston, the White House.
The unemployment line got a bit longer last week.
The Labor Department says filings for unemployment claims for the week ending March 30th climbed by 9,000 to 221,000 from the previous week's 212,000. In total, 1.79 million Americans were collecting jobless benefits during the week that ended March 23rd, a decline of 19,000 from the previous week. Despite the increase in filings, layoffs remain at historically low levels as the labor market continues to move along despite elevated interest rates.
Correspondent Jeremy House. Springtime storms bringing a threat of flooding along the East Coast and snow measured in feet across parts of New England. Coastal flood watches and warnings extending from New York to Maine. Interior New Hampshire and Maine, as well as parts of northern New York State, could get some very heavy snow. Bad weather temporarily slowed recovery efforts at the scene of the Key Bridge collapse in Baltimore. On Wall Street this morning, a rally is underway, and right now the Dow is up 153 points, the Nasdaq trading 145 points higher. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Biden has started tracking Christians like cattle. Yes, you heard it right.
Here's an important message from the Diabetes Solution Center. Do you like pricking your fingers to test your blood sugar levels? No one does, but it's important to maintain your health. And now, by wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you don't need to prick your fingers anymore. It's easy to use and helps you make more accurate diabetes treatment decisions. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now. And if you have Medicare or most major insurance coverage, you may be able to get a new CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost. Shipping is free, and we'll even bill your insurance company for you. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now to learn how to end the painful finger sticks and get your own continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, at little to no
North Korea
out-of-pocket cost.
continuing to claim advances in nuclear and missile development, saying it has tested another new hypersonic intermediate-range missile.
State media says the test was supervised by leader Kim, who described the Wazon-16B missile as a key piece of his nuclear deterrent he vowed to further build up to counter his enemies, a reference to the US, South Korea and Japan. In recent years, the North has been developing more missiles with built-in solid propellants. Such weapons are easier to move and hide and can be launched quicker than liquid propellant missiles, which need to be fueled before launch. I'm Charles de la Tesma.
Communist China continuing a drive to expand its influence in all corners of the globe. Now, Tonga's Prime Minister says he is open to Beijing's offer of security support from the South Pacific Kingdom hosting a major regional leaders summit, raising concerns in the U.S. as it strives to counter China's growing influence abroad. News and analysis, townhall.com. A cruise ship, 1,500 people aboard, stuck in port at Barcelona, Spain.
It's all due to the visa problems of a group of Bolivian passengers who were due to disembark there. Authorities say 69 Bolivians are not being allowed to leave the ship because they lack valid documents to enter the European border-free Schengen area. Spanish government officials said Wednesday they're in contact with Bolivian authorities and the cruise ship company to resolve the situation. The ship had sailed from Brazil to cover a route in the Mediterranean Sea. Spanish news reports said that some 1,500 passengers are meanwhile on board, hoping to continue the cruise to Croatia. Keith Peters reporting.
More than 600 British jurists calling on the UK government to suspend arms sales to Israel. In an open letter to the Prime Minister, the lawyers and judges said the UK could be complicit in grave breaches of international law if it continues to ship weapons. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The traveler said, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 8 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 2.
The Deuce.
Of Mornings with Mike Winters, right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Happy Thursday, everybody.
Yes.
Hope it's going well.
TGI Thursday.
Yeah. Got plans for the weekend?
Yes I do.
Nice.
I got dudes coming over to watch dudes slap other dudes this weekend.
Wrestling time.
It was just going to be a Sunday night thing, but after I was looking at the lineup for night one, I conceded. I'm like, all right, guys, I'm going to do both nights. I mean, either way, I was going to be watching it, but it's.
But now you're having to watch party.
It's so much more fun. Like I like watching pro wrestling, but it's one of the. And I've told this to to the lady I'm seeing. I have to take in pro wrestling the same way that like you eat that rare exotic bird under a sheet so as not to offend the Lord. Like I do it in the privacy of my own home or with a group of like-minded individuals. because that is so much fun.
It's like a guilty pleasure.
It really is when you get around, people who are in on the, the rib along with you,
Oh yeah. Yeah. I did it. It's, I as a man who has many things that I'm into that most of society aren't.
Right.
So I get that, It's like, hey, let's watch this Civil War movie. What?
It is kind of like, it's been likened to getting the girls together to watch one day at a time, or something like that. But I understand there's a lot of a lot of negative connotation to it. But yeah, it's I'm definitely looking forward to having the fellers over.
Well, good.
And it gives me an excuse to, clean my house.
Entertain.
That's right.
Get to entertain. Well, good. So what's how deep do you roll? 4, 5, 6, 8 guys?
It's right now 4.
4.
I'm not sure who else coming, but buddy Michael Gamboa, Ram Miller, Jake.
Oh, you guys are getting out. They're like, well,
he's like,
I didn't tell my girl I was coming over to your house.
Actually, I'm not sure if he's going to come, but Jake, Roy's nephew, is also on the list.
Very good. So what's appropriate snacking for wrestling events?
It's real hit or miss because it's kind of a different group of guys. Because like Ram, he's real like Ram's like one of my best friends in the world. But if you look up I'm sure he's okay with me saying this. If you look up the word stoner in the dictionary, his picture is right there. So he's definitely got a very eclectic taste, but he's like only drinks water. So I'm covered there with water. Most of the time, Roy will ask for stuff, but he'll also bring stuff along, for the ride.
Well, that's
helpful.
As when I think it's socially acceptable when you go to someone's house for a get together and there's food being served, one would offer. Yes. Hey, should I bring anything? Can I bring some chips or nachos or
But
whatever?
Roy also pulls a different move. Roy's move is, I'm going to wait till everybody else is gone. I'm going to see if you going to want any more of this?
Oh, yeah. the Hoover. Yeah, clean it up.
I'm going to take that big bag of chips home with me if you're okay with it.
You always need a Hoover friend to help you out.
That's right. I think last time, didn't you take my charcuterie board? Like you took my whole meats and cheese tray?
Yeah, I took your cheeses, your olives, your little bolognas, salamis.
And cheeses. Roy's just walking out with a party tray. It's a baller move. I can't pull it off.
I'm eating mini sandwiches for a week now.
That's right.
So, nice. I like it.
I've sort of done the same thing at Thomas's house. Only I'll just pocket it. grab a Coke Zero and just throw it in the pocket.
Why do you got deviled eggs in your pocket?
They're pocket eggs, Mike. That's the only way you know you got pocket eggs.
Dude, give me some of your tots.
Pocket tots.
Although I was standing up for the most of the time, just eating chips because I didn't want to sit back down, scrunched between two guys on a couch.
That's the thing.
That little bit of
my seating setup, and it's a little different now because I have a 2-seat couch with recliners on one wall.
Okay.
And it's not exactly facing the TV, although I'm going to try to move it for this weekend. And then my regular couch, which is 3-seat, a 3-seater. And yeah, it's odd, being elbow to elbow with another, fella.
Well, it's not just that. I just didn't want to get up and sit down every time I wanted to get a grab a chip.
You need to do what we did as kids. Get a couple of those like bean bags or whatever. Right. They're floor seat and they're always good. It's wrestling. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
Plus your kids would like it when they're over.
They're great, except for at my age, you ever tried to get out of a beanbag chair?
That's why you make your guests sit in it and you sit in your couch.
Well, even the couch, dude, my couch is a deep sit. Roy can attest to that. It's a deep sit. You got to to get off.
Yeah. No. The golden rule when you host an event, especially a watch party, is the host gets the king chair. The chair that's designated in their home. As like when people come to my house, I still sit in my chair.
The dad chair.
I have my spot. But it's funny, both the times we've had had the guys over to watch wrestling, somebody will get in my spot beforehand.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say anything.
Oh, I will. I'll be like, that belongs to me.
Okay, Sheldon.
There are several other seats in this room.
You can tell
that one's mine.
Because this couch cushion, this couch cushion and this couch cushion feel like cushions.
Yeah.
This one is flat.
Yeah. Well, and mine is new. It's only about a month old, so it's still not worked in yet.
Right.
But
well, also I was sitting in the middle between two guys.
Yeah.
And I have long legs, so I need like some kind of support to get. And there's nothing for me to like push on to get up off the couch.
Uh-huh.
So I either have to like find some like thigh or or just put my hands on their chest.
I push off another man to get up.
That's right. And that's the thing when you're sitting so close to each other, you gotta put a hand on a thigh to get some leverage to get up.
Beanbags. This is gonna solve this.
Or just put my hand all the way on the back of the couch and launch myself off.
Right.
There you go. Or bring your own cooler. That way, if you bring a cooler, you always have a seat.
And then everybody's
get a playmate, then you're gonna sit funny. But one with a flat surface.
Yeah, everybody's got to shake my hand to get a drink too.
It's a good setup.
Well, sounds like fun,
right?
No, but it does sound like fun. I mean, you cramp, but who cares? I mean, it's wrestling. That sounds like fun.
It is.
Well, good deal.
Yeah,
I have none of that planned, so I don't know what I'm gonna do. Actually, I'm sure there's a couple things on the radar that we got to do, but there's not we're not later we're going we're going to go to Albuquerque and I don't think is that next week or the week after it. Yeah, it's busy, and so
there's a lot of stuff
this
going
weekend
on.
I don't think there's much going on. So
in fact, not so there's that this weekend. I've got a few things going on next weekend, including a remote we have, and then the following weekend you're going to Albuquerque to watch the Savannah Bananas play.
Yeah, that's that weekend.
And I'll be going to Clovis to watch Bowling for Soup and Gin Blossoms.
Soup and Bananas.
And then driving straight back because I have a remote the next day.
Yeah, they're playing at Isotopes Park. But yeah, it'll be the Savannah Bananas and the team they play that comes with them, the travel team. They're like the Globetrotters.
The Washington Generals.
Yeah, it's I think they call them something the Thrashers or something, something Renegade, some name like that.
Some fancy name.
Yeah. But if I hear correctly, the Bananas don't win all the time.
Really?
They do the shtick, they do all the stuff.
Yeah.
But it's not a guaranteed win for the Bananas.
That would be such a... It's like, okay, if you go back and you look at the Harlem Globetrotters record, they have lost some games to
the Generals,
yeah.
Washington
They
Generals.
have lost some games to that team. How much must it suck to be in the stands on a night that the Globetrotters lose?
Do you get your money back?
What a downer! I mean, I'm sure they put on a good show, but
dude, this sucks. They're losing.
That's
They're
the
down
worst.
20.
It's like you booked this wrong.
Sweet Georgia Brown, my butt.
It's like when you watch your kids play the NFL mascots and they just cream them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody else has headphones on but me, so I'm gonna have to beg you to not chew into the mic.
Hey, I don't have my headphones on.
I had it like
it was like all I hear was I'm like, ah!
He's a big fan of that kind of stuff
I'm
too.
not. I'm very much
ASMR.
not.
Yeah, he loves it. You should send him more videos of it. Oh man, let me give you the rundown for this hour of the show. We'll get you up to date with the weather here in just a few minutes. Sorry, I just got an image of a bunch of big dudes and four guys sitting in one.
No, I will say I have kitchen chairs that I'm going to set up too for extra seating now that you mention it. I do need a bit of a buffer.
It's picture like four big dudes or five trying to sit on a couch.
When I lived in Albuquerque, my roommate, one of my best friends, Brian, he had a real bad habit of when he'd come home from work after a long day or whatever, or even just on the weekends, he'd pop that shirt off, come out and sit on the couch, and we'd play video games or watch TV or whatever. I was like, I wish you weren't so comfortable just sitting around shirtless. He goes, you should take yours off. I'm like, dude, one guy shirtless on a couch, that's fine. Two guys shirtless on a couch, that's a setup for a scene on X Hamster or something.
You know, you're right. I've been on this earth going on 51 years.
Right.
I've never been in a situation where another guy came to me, you should take your shirt off too.
Pop off, get comfy. It's like, no, I feel like that's a trap.
Never put myself in that situation that I could think
Ever
of.
walked into a room and just seen two dudes shirtless playing Worms Armageddon?
Yeah.
It's a weird
I've been
look.
ordered to take off my clothes by doctors and what have
Oh,
you.
I was like, go on.
But he wasn't also shirtless and said, you should take your shirt off too.
Why don't you pop that shirt off? Get comfortable.
So, yeah.
I did think it was odd when I went to the masseuse and they said to undress to their level of comfort.
Oh, man. On that note, we're going to play our interview we had with Jim Tucker, Skywarn Weather Coordinator, talking about the next spotter training class. It's coming up here on the 16th. Sorry. I still got images. I need to get that out of my head. I need a palate cleanser. All right, it is 17 minutes after 8. Here's your weather. Please enjoy it.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Get ready for some pretty gusty winds starting tomorrow and through the weekend. We have a low-pressure trough moving into the area. No rain with that. Low 80s and fairly calm wind today. We'll be getting sunshine, clear and mid-40s for the overnight hours. And then tomorrow, mostly sunny, mid-80s, and wind gusting to about 45 miles an hour. Will stay very windy through the weekend. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 46 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 37% with winds out of the north at 3 miles per hour. Sunny and a high of 83 expected today. Winds will be out of the north 5 to 10 miles per hour in the morning, 10 to 15 miles per hour later in the day. Clear tonight. Expect an overnight low of 44 degrees with south winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. Those winds will drop down 5 to 10 after midnight. Friday, sunny. Another warm day, 83 for a high. Winds will be blowing, though, a little bit out of the south early, 5 to 15 miles per hour. Those winds will increase 15 to 25, gusting as high as 35 miles per hour by Friday afternoon. And to be honest, that's kind of a precursor of Saturday. Because Saturday's going to be even windier. But Friday night, clear, 49 for a low. Winds will be out of the south, 15 to 25. Gusting as high as 35 miles per hour by Friday night. And then Saturday, they're talking patchy blowing dust for Saturday afternoon. Cooler as well. High of only 66 on Saturday. Winds will be out of the west, 20 to 25. Gusting as high as, early 20 to 25. Increasing 30 to 35. Gusting as high as 45 miles per hour. Clear Saturday night and breezy with an overnight low of 38. Sunny and 73 for your Sunday. And sunny and 78 for your Monday when you head back to work. And then they're talking slight rain chances Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. So we'll see there. All right, 8:19. We're going to take a 3-minute break. Then we'll play our interview with Jim Tucker, Skywarn Weather Coordinator. That's up next. Don't go away.
Can't hear as well as you used to? That can happen to the best of us. But when you can't hear people speaking or birds chirping, it's time to take action. That's when it's time to call Howard Allman with Here on Earth Hearing Care Center. Howard has been helping people hear better for over 55 years. Howard is who helps the Artesia seniors with servicing their hearing aids of all makes with free cleaning and hearing evaluations. And he's ready to help you. Howard can share with you information on Audibel Intrigue AI hearing aids with many features you might not expect a hearing aid can do, such as using your hearing aids to stream calls, music, and more. Plus, health monitoring, count steps, even fall detection, all built in. Meet face-to-face with someone who can help you choose the right hearing aid for you. Call Howard at 575-622-0375, and he'll be glad to set up a time to meet with you. That's 575-622-0375 for Howard Allman of Here on Earth Hearing Care Center.
Attention Roswell, Carlsbad, Artesia, and all of southeast New Mexico. The University of New Mexico wants you. UNM is ranked in the top 1.5% of all universities in the world, and the only Research One university in New Mexico, with over 200 academic programs and endless opportunities. UNM is truly a world-class university. Define your future at the University of New Mexico, and UNM has increased the number of scholarships for 2021, so now is the time to apply. Apply today at unm.edu. Now accepting applications from Southeast New Mexico.
Need new windows for your home? Beware of the sales gangster. Jennifer from Trustmark Roofing and Windows here. A sales gangster is a window salesperson with the mobster mentality. They intimidate, bully, and fast talk you into buying their less than quality windows during a 3-hour pitch. Think I'm kidding? Call a few window companies and see for yourself. Or you can skip the sales gangsters and call Trustmark. We have fair, no-nonsense pricing on our premium windows, and our appointments take only about 60 to 75 minutes. Just long enough to listen to what you need, show you your options, answer your questions, and give you a straightforward quote. Then it's up to you. We can take a no just as easy as a yes, but I'll guarantee you this. No sales gangsters. Sound fair? Call Trustmark Roofing and Windows for your no-obligation spring window assessment. 575-755-7663 or visit TrustmarkRoofPros.com.
Trustmark Roofing, we put people first.
Get your tickets now as Red Zone presents A Night with C.J. Stroud, Saturday, April 13th at the Bulldog Pit in Artesia. Previously announced as A Night with Jason Witten, Jason became unavailable, so C.J. Stroud stepped up to take his place. C.J. is the 2024 Offensive Rookie of the Year with the Houston Texans and two-time Heisman Trophy finalist. Admission is free, but you must have a ticket to enter. Jason Witten printed tickets are still good, and remaining tickets are available at the Artesia Chamber of Commerce. This invitation is courtesy of H.F. Sinclair. Excited about C.J. Stroud coming to Artesia.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Due to extreme pressure and weather conditions, it literally rains diamonds on Neptune and Uranus. Stop snickering because I said Uranus. Here's Mike Winters.
Joining us. And good morning. It is 26 minutes after 7 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning, Jim Tucker, Skywarn Weather Coordinator here for our region, Chavez County, joining us in studio this morning. Good morning, Jim.
Good morning, Mike. How are you?
Doing great. How's life in your world this morning?
Everything's is good. It really is. Yeah. So come to the point where if I can get up and get around and have all my faculties together,
call it a win,
right?
Day. Well, and so of course, if you're not familiar, Jim joins us a few times a year and talks Skywarn Weather Coordinating and ham radio usually, because was one of his other big passions is ham radio. And to be honest, they kind of go hand in hand, Skywarn Weather Coordinating and ham radio. I mean, you don't need to have ham radio to be a Skywarn Weather Coordinator, but if you are a Skywarn Weather Coordinator with ham radio, it is helpful.
It is, yes, exactly. Yeah. It does go hand in hand.
Yes, absolutely. But what we really want to do is coming up here on April 16th, is the next Skywarn Weather Coordinator spotter training. So if you ever wanted to, if you want to participate, whenever the spotters are the eyes and ears for really the National Weather Service here in southeast New Mexico and really all over the country, particularly rural parts where we don't get as much satellite coverage or, we don't have all the bells and whistles, Doppler radar 37 or whatever they're up to now on some of that stuff. Albuquerque, Midland, they get really good coverage. But when you get out in the boonies and the desert and things like that, they really rely on farmers, ranchers, people that are living in the region to give them eyewitness reports on what they're seeing. Mm-hmm. And they use that information to track the storms, to warn people, hey, we got a tornado recipe forming up here, start warning people in the area. As a spotter, you're very vital in getting the word out on when those severe weather times hit, because they do hit here. I mean, y'all, it's not a question of if. At least a couple times a year, we get tornado warnings or some kind of severe weather, hail, something going on. And to be honest, by you just observing and reporting some of this stuff, you could save lives.
Well, sure. And that's, as you mentioned about the technology, where we live here, particularly in the Pecos Valley, we rely primarily on Cannon Air Force Base radar.
Okay.
But
out of Clovis there.
Right.
Which is 2 hours away. Yeah.
Exactly. and oftentimes, I say often, once in a while that radar will go down. Mm-hmm. And then when they do, we either rely on Lubbock or we're on the very fringe of Midland radar.
Gotcha.
But when it goes down, like yesterday, was it yesterday or the day before, whatever, there was a few little activity in the area, nothing severe by any stretch. But I thought, I'm going to bring up radar and just kind of look at it. And Cannon was down. So I went to Lubbock, and Lubbock goes down.
Oh,
so,
no. But we're literally flying blind on this one.
Right, and it's at those times when really the spotters are more valuable. Because
absolutely.
If there was anything going on severe, and we have no radar, basically.
Right.
Then we need
basically, there's no warning. They're flying blind. And
yeah, they do have satellite. They can tell some things by satellite. But the idea is, the thing to remember is when radar has a tilt pan to it, if you can imagine a pie pan with just a slight concave in the bottom of it where the middle is.
Right.
Okay, that's kind of like the radar pan is, because the lowest, I think, is 0.5 degrees or 1 degree or something like that. Anyway, when you take that in and then add in the curvature of the Earth from Cannon down here, you get about a 10,000-foot base there where the radar can't see anything.
A little blind there.
And a lot goes on in that area.
Makes sense.
So Weather Service really depends on ground truth observations to make determinations on what to issue, early warnings to get people alerted to to do something, take some cover. So
Plus, it's part of the, because obviously, and this is where the class will come in, because it'll talk about the different types of the clouds and things and see. And so when the clouds are doing things up there, that's your clues, that's your indicators. If it's swirling this way or if it's forming this way, that indicates, where a storm's forming or where a storm could be forming or the direction the storm is going. Oh, well, look. See how it's moving this way? It's not building yet, but wait till it gets here. It's probably going to start building into something nasty over here. By you taking the class, you actually kind of learn some of those signs, and really all they're asking you to do is if you're out and doing your daily life, you're not having to run out and go buy a truck like a Twister and start running around chasing tornadoes in the desert. That's not what they're asking you to do.
They're not.
No.
Yeah, and really, they're it's important that people know that they're not even obligated to make reports. I mean, you don't have to. I mean, this is a class where you can come, you can learn about it if you've got an interest in severe weather.
Sure.
Come see what these different formations are, what qualifies as a tornado and what doesn't, because sometimes we look at stuff, it looks like a tornado.
And that's just good information to have, regardless of whether you're wanting to be a spotter or not. You live in New Mexico, and from time to time, if you can read the tea leaves literally here, you can get a pretty good idea what's going on. And I'm sorry, that's going to be very useful to a person, especially if you do work out in the ranches and farms or oil field or whatever out there.
That's it. And and then also too, it doesn't only pertain to severe weather, but there's also other things you learn, like these brownout dust storms we have, and it's it's very important that people remember that when they're caught in a brownout condition, which sometimes can happen almost without warning. I mean, you know about it, but
they come in as quick as they go out sometimes. Yeah,
they do. And if you're caught in a situation where you can't see beyond the hood ornament, I say, but whatever.
To be honest, I've been in one, and you literally could not see past.
Cannot
the hood.
see.
It is the scariest thing I think I've ever experienced driving.
It is, and if you're really in that situation, you need to remember, just slow down, safely pull over to the side of the road, as far off the roadway as you can.
Not
safely.
in the lane, not in the highway.
Not in the highway. Turn your lights off, put the car in park, get off the brake, and make sure there's no lights on your car, because people will follow lights. And it's like I've got a light bar in my car, inside my car, that's got mags on it, and I use it for monitoring the races.
Sure.
But and I thought of putting that on there, and I thought no, because that's just going to make matters worse.
Sure. Well, think of it, it's like a lighthouse in a storm. That's the same purpose here is storms. The ships in the storm, they're looking for the lighthouse that they're following. So by nature, that's human nature to do that. And another thing, it's kind of like you also get some of the same properties you get like in the fog. Like I don't know if you all remember driver's ed. Some of you may not, but if you remember back in the day, they used to teach you when foggy conditions are out, do not use your high beams. Never use your high beams in the fog. It'll actually make you more blind, because the fog basically reflects the light back in your face. You can actually have that same experience in dust too. So that's some of the lights and brightening up and everything is not your friend in the dust storms.
Yeah.
But you're right. Get over. I know people. I was telling you the one time I went through and scared me. What doubly scared me, and I'm lucky, I was in the right place at the right time instead of the wrong place. I was literally, and this was right at the Chaves County, Eddy County, right where that
where the trees are.
Yeah, that ranch there, the dairy farm there is, and that's like a little dust highway sometimes right there. And I caught it one time where it was a brownout, and it was about a quarter-mile stretch where I could not see past the hood of the car. I literally, and I'm like, wow. So I stayed in the left lane and I kept slow, but it kept moving. And sure enough, in the middle of that, a car was in the right lane, stopped. And I didn't see it until I was right on it. And had I been in the same lane, I would have plowed right back. But I didn't even see them till I was literally passing them in the dust. And I was like, that person is so, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And I think they just panicked. And, sometimes humans do that. You freak and you just freeze. And I think that's kind of what happened there.
Could be.
So that's to your point earlier. Do not stop. Slowly get off the road to stop. Don't stop in the middle of the road. Get as far over, almost to, if you don't feel pavement anymore, and then get over there. And that way you'll you'll definitely increase your safety odds exponentially doing that.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and because I mean, we just was it a week 2 ago? I mean, down the Dexter Highway and all that. You heard all the Travis County Sheriff and other first responders reporting what people were seeing and doing out there and telling people to stay home. They closed the highway 285, I think, here that one day, and that. Folks, we live in that stretch between here and Artesia. When this dust hits and all that, it is a highway of dust and debris and some of the worst driving conditions you'll ever experience. You'll probably experience driving between here and Artesia.
Yeah, that's it. And unfortunately, that one of those accidents. So we had 2 storms. I think the first storm, Orchard Park, I believe, a fatality. Unfortunately,
Yeah,
so,
unfortunately,
it's
so this is people tell you the things to do, but doing the next step here is coming and checking out this class. Educate yourself. Like you said earlier, it's you're not obligated to anything. If you want to just come and learn the information and learn what to look for and have it in your back pocket, because at some point in life you're gonna want to need this stuff. But if you want to get full into this and want to be more involved and get even to like at Jim's level here, and you're monitoring, and I picture Jim's got like a room with all these computers and antennas, and you just kind of almost like a computer, like evil genius science lab kind of thing.
Yeah, well, it's kind of a comm center. Yeah, it's yeah. Let's see that, because Tim Shire from the National Weather Service. He's gone now. Unfortunately, he passed on. But he took me for a tour through. In fact, I've got that video still on YouTube. But he took me for a guided tour through the National Weather Service field office in Albuquerque, and really nice guy. And one of the things he was saying, he took me into the main control room, and they had this cross pattern where 4 operators with about 3 or 4 monitors, in this. Which you can't see on radio what I'm doing,
Right.
but if you can kind of vision that. And he walked in there and showed me what the room was, and he says, "We have a saying around here." He says, "He who dies with the most screens is the winner." And that's the thing. I mean, I've got about 4 screens in my studio.
It's probably like a bragging thing. It's like, oh, you only got 4 screens. I got 6 screens. I'm pretty impressed.
Yeah, and actually, if trained spotters want to do this that have GMRS radio licenses, I've got GMRS radio also licensed there in my studio, so I could run my net. What we do is we run a radio net, with the ham radio operators, and myself or Gary, one of us will come on and we'll announce a net when there's severe weather impending or maybe in the area and potentially anyway. And then we'll have the different stations that want to check in.
Okay.
So we may get half a dozen or more check-ins sometimes. And what that does for us is I'll be keeping track of them. I'm listening to the weather service. I'm watching the radar on the screen. And then if either from their stationary location or if they want to go out and ride and, cruise, we kind of train everybody how to stay safe and avoid, but they can make their observations. And then as I'm writing them down and taking their observations, I'm also on a chat room right to the National Weather Service, so I can send them this information in
So they're
real
getting
time.
it almost as quick as you're getting it.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And
Works out real well.
Which makes sense because obviously when it comes to storms and weather, minutes are lives in this. I mean, joking back to the Twister movie and all that again, but aside from all the flying cows and all that stuff, the research and what they're to try to give people more time and give, that was kind of the premise of that movie. It's like, where's this machine to, how much 15 minutes more time would be valuable to people on mornings on this? And that's, so really this is that part of that. And so please come to the class. I think if nothing else, you're just going to be like, wow, this is really interesting and really gee whiz cool, learning about, and especially where we live. We're very lucky that we live in this rural, with convenience and you trade off, but the things you get to see, Earth's beauties out there, you don't get to see that back east.
You don't get to see it. Just coming back, we come back from Lubbock once a month or so, from doctor's visits and stuff. And coming back in, we're coming in about sundown. Of course, once the glaring sun gets down below the deck, I mean, it's just orange, purple, just beautiful,
Yeah, you don't. You kind of take it for granted when you live out here, but like I remember like watching movies as a kid. I grew up in Maryland, D.C. area, and watching movies as a kid. You always see those movies where they have the giant moon, or you know what I mean. And I'm like, that's all Hollywood. And then I moved to New Mexico, and I'm like, oh, they really do get moons that big and everything sometimes, you know? You don't see all that.
Yeah, and it's also ideal area, really, for storm spotting because, you know, there's it's so unobstructed. You don't have a bunch of trees. And then when you do spot a storm, you can know how to safely get in proximity to it to where you can sit there and watch it. I've got another video on YouTube of the tornado that went across the northwest part of town in 2010, October. And, just, you know, I saw on the radar, I saw the markers, and I said, there's something going on with the storm. So I jumped in the car and went up on Pine Lodge Road and saw a nice formed wall cloud. And I just sat there and watched it for a bit and got my camera set up and stuff. And she dropped a tornado, and it went on the ground for about 10 minutes out across.
Watching from the distance is probably kind of beautiful.
It is.
You know what I mean? And, you know, when it's in the middle of nowhere and there's nobody, you know, you're just like, wow, that's really sit back and enjoy the beauty of what you're seeing here for the the magnitude of it, and you know, that's the one thing at weather. You know, it always reminds us how you think you're a big fish in the pond and all that, and Mother Nature will real quick tell you, you're respecting the big thing, a big picture of things here.
That's it. And when you take this class, they will give you a toll-free phone number to call. And that's a spotter line. And if you're out and about and you see something, and I mean, some things are kind of no-brainers. Now, if you got they have reporting criteria, winds in excess of 50 knots or 58 miles per hour measured. So if you've got instruments and you meet you see some of this criteria, yes, go ahead and report it. Some of the lesser stuff like pea-sized hail, maybe not. But if that pea-sized hail completely covers the roadway, then they like to know about that because that's we had an accident out west of town just a couple weeks ago, and it's like. And they said, and they put it out as, and it was about the 317 out there, and it was due to ice on the road. And it's like, ice on the road. I pulled up radar, and there's this one little spot that went across the highway, and I told Weather Service, I said, this is what we're hearing reported, and it was a rollover accident, and I guess it either turned out to be grapple or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Just enough to make that roadway slick.
Gotcha.
Didn't realize.
Well,
and
that's
control.
to be honest, and I've always was told like driver's ed and everything. Usually the slipperiest, the roads at its slipperiest right at the beginning of a rainstorm, or because that's when you got the wet mixed with whatever dirt and debris that was sitting on top of the road, and then the road. At least after it's been raining a while, it kind of washes some of that off. And so I'm not saying go Dukes of Hazzard and around, once it's full on raining. But to be honest, your most dangerous time as far as driving conditions is usually right when the storm is starting and when the rain is just falling and stuff. But That being said, when you see the sleet and hail and all the grackle and all that, that's a term I never really heard a lot until the last year or so. Here.
Right.
They've been throwing it in quite a bit here, and then I confuse it with the birds that meddle
grackles,
in our
grackles and grackle grapple.
So, but please, again, if you're interested. The good news is this is free. Everything's free of charge. It doesn't cost you a thing.
Yeah, no pre-registration or anything.
And it's going to be 6 to 8 p.m. at the Daniels Leadership Center, which is there on the campus of the New Mexico Military Institute. It's, I guess, technically slightly south of the campus there.
Well, yeah, and if you what north?
North. You're right. I'm sorry, north. I was going north.
Yeah, so be sure to come in off of 19th.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, actually, you can see the Daniels Leadership Center if you're turning on Main and 19th. You're coming. If you're coming off of Main Street, you'll see, and it'll be that big brown building there, kind of on your left. And you go right, pull into the parking lot, and walk right on in. It's actually a cool facility if you've never been there. There's a lot of cool things in there. I've been in there a couple times.
Oh, yeah. And also, just to add also, if you, many of you might be used to the fact that, in prior years, we had the 1:30 class.
Yeah, there was a new, like a midday and a nighttime. Now it's just the evening class.
Just the evening class this year, 6 o'clock.
But it's free of charge. And again, it'll be happening April 16th, 6 to 8 p.m. at the Daniels Leadership Center there on the New Mexico Military Institute campus, 100 West 19th, if you want to GPS it and plug it in and let the robot lady tell you exactly where to go. I do it. I use it in town all the time too, because there's certain. I'm like, I know where that is, but I don't know where that is.
Yeah. I've got this one fellow a friend of mine lives on Holly Loop.
Yeah.
And I know exactly. I know where it is approximately, but is it? I can't remember, is it off of Mission Arch or is it off of, you know what I mean? So
it starts bleeding in your head. It's like, what turn is it again or whatever.
Yeah, because Mescalero, Brendo, and Country, all them, I get kind of.
Yeah, it gets muddy after a while. Yeah, I know exactly. And then you turn, I used to, I have a horrible sense of direction anyway. I'm just one of those people by nature that, I can read compasses and thank God I'm an Eagle Scout, so I can the tools.
Right.
But which way's north? I'm like, hold on.
Yeah, in Denver it was easy for us because we knew where the mountains was west.
And that's my cheat code. I'm like, all right, I'm on Main Street. Hold on, let me look at it. That way's north. I'm going north.
Yeah,
I literally have to use landmarks on the ground to help me out here. I have zero sense of which way's west and east, north, south. So,
right.
But again, come on, and if you want to learn a little bit more about weather here, just for your gee whiz curious information, or if you want to get more involved and become maybe, and that's another thing too. If you want to get to the next level and say, hey, I also want to get involved with the ham stuff and maybe be a part of the communication. Really, you can get in cheaply if you got a smartphone. That's kind of that can be a foot in the door for you here.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you want to get more into it, then like any other hobby or activity, it can get as expensive as you want it to be.
That's it. And I mean, you can buy one of the most popular radios out there right now is the Baofeng UV5R, and many people may use them for businesses, non-coms, non-profits, whatever, that you need comms. A lot of people may have them for that.
Good deal.
And you can program them for GMR. Well, for GMRS, I'll say that. And then ham radio, just remember that some places you go, bands have certain restrictions on what kind of radios, but
I was always curious, and just because I was thinking about this last night, like when the ham and you can access and listen to stuff on your phone, how is it actually picking up ham signals, or is it getting ham signals that are being fed to the internet?
That's exactly it. That's what you just said. Because like Echolink, for instance, and I don't know how much time you have, but anyway, there's an app called Echolink.
Okay.
And when you bring up Echolink, come on, baby. It's I've got favorites. There's repeaters, or there's nodes and links all around the world.
Gotcha.
And what they do is they through the internet servers, they link in. Like, let's say you have a repeater out here.
Okay.
And you want to link that into Echolink, then you can have a computer tied to it. The computer's on the internet, and then when someone pushes in a certain code or whatever, sometimes you can just set them to be linked up all the time.
Okay.
And the one of our local repeaters was, and I'm going to see if for some reason it wouldn't link last night. I think the connection might have been down on the internet. Yeah, that one's not going to link up, but there's plenty others. Like I could go on here. Here's the North Central Texas. Oh, not logged in. Okay. How about Alamogordo W5QCP? Let's see if this checks in. Yeah, and I mean, you could...
They're sleeping in on Friday there.
Yeah, see?
Oh, okay, cool.
So now I'm linked up to that repeater.
Nice,
okay. Through a node.
Now, does it, like, if you want to communicate back, can you do that the same way? Or is it really just observing and listening through a phone or something like that?
Oh, no, it's two-way communication.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't know so does it in essence work the same back? You go through the internet, in essence, it puts it back to the ham signal to get it to the destination which you are intending it to be. If the other ends, gotcha.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about that because I was like, because ham it's all radio frequencies, and I'm not an expert anyway, but I know enough to be in trouble on some of that stuff, and it's really about bands. If you look at it like a big spectrum, and like your police bands are on one side, and when you're listening to us, it's on one part, and then there's the ham in there as well, and it's all part of this spectrum here, and so it's all radio waves, all in a different spectrum, and that's
even your phones. I mean, it's just two-way radio. It's full duplex two-way radio.
Gotcha.
And it's just
just uses a different frequency that
it's way up there.
Yeah. So that's why I was just was curious about that, because I know enough to know it's gotta. I mean, even as simple as like your remote control cars and airplanes, there's a set of frequencies on the spectrum that are just for that kind of stuff. So
yeah, and so much stuff uses RF anymore. It's like really a miracle it doesn't all get confused more than it does.
Well, you almost wonder if it's the same stuff. Like you go with your garage door clicker and just go down the neighborhood, see how many doors you open.
Yeah, there's got to be a duplication somewhere.
Absolutely here. But if you're interested in ham, when's your next meeting for the ham radio guys here?
Oh, let's see. We've got VE testing. If you've been studying for your ham radio license and you'd like to go ahead and take a test for it, we do one basically every quarter.
Okay.
And the next one is going to be, which I thought I would already.
Y'all still meet pretty much every weekend at the
we
clubhouse
have
there? Or,
we have a coffee every Saturday morning, and then the first Saturday of every month we have the monthly business meeting.
Okay.
And the public's welcome to come to that.
Yeah,
also.
if you're interested in
9
one to
o'clock
learn.
Saturday mornings. Yeah. And it's we're now in at the Adult Center on North Missouri.
Okay.
So yeah, we're no longer downtown.
Well,
or at
now that the
Rock
Adult
House.
Center's full back from COVID now, and by the way, if you're looking for activities and things, the Adult Center's got a full slate every day of arts, crafts, games. Like if they're looking for more people. Like I think they used to have their card groups that go there and play cards. They're starting to all come back together and back to the thing now. So if you're looking for things to do, the Adult Center's full on operation. Pre-COVID levels of activities and stuff out there.
Yeah, and I used to have the idea of not wanting to go down there with all those old guys. Now guess what?
Now you're like,
I'm
wait
one
a
of those
minute.
old guys.
I look like these people. What happened?
Right. Man, that guy looks old. Oh, I went to high school with him.
Right. You look old. Shut up, dude. Check it out in a mirror.
Exactly.
Right.
But yeah, our next VE testing session is going to be on the 13th of April.
Okay. So coming up here in a week or two, just over a week here.
Yep.
Almost 2 weeks. But
and you can call. I can just throw my phone number out there if anybody has any questions. If that's all right. 575-208-9696.
Okay.
So yeah, just give me a call if you want information or leave a message, and I'll get back to you or something. And for more information on VE testing or the Skywarn class or anything.
Yeah, absolutely. If you want to, and if you want to get involved with it, or if you just want to ask ham stuff, come out to Skywarn training here on the 16th, and after the thing, you can talk to Jim. He'll be happy to kind of tell you more about ham radio or more Skywarn stuff if you want to get next level. And it's like, all right, I got the bug. What's my first piece of equipment I should buy?
Yeah, and you know what a lot of hams are doing now, and you could go back the other way, but is if you want to get your GMRS license, we've got several repeaters in the area.
Yeah.
And they're not real active just yet, but we're getting there, and a lot of the hams are getting their GMRS licenses.
And you'd be surprised when that stuff comes handy in times of need and things like that. You never. It's we live in an area where things like this, you never know you're going to need that kind of stuff. It's,
right.
We don't live in the world where we have the conveniences of a city and everything's we live in Roswell and you can DoorDash and do all that kind of stuff. But when it comes to this kind of stuff, amenities, things that up to the minute information and stuff, it's a little bit slower out in our world than it is even with internet and everything. And so Skywarn Weather Coordinating, ham radio, these are the forms of communication, the forms of things that we know that trump technology. They, when technology all fails, and sometimes it does, ham radio guys are usually ones that are able to broadcast in the dark. The Skywarn people are the ones getting the word out when no other ways available to get the word out.
Yeah, and there's other things we do is hams. I don't know how much time we have really talk about this to go down this trail, but in ham radio we also do. In fact, one thing I do like to do is get involved in is WinLink, and what that does is uses HF radio, which doesn't rely on repeaters or anything, but we can send formatted messages and emails outside of the area and to another radio with no internet.
Wow.
Yeah, so
it's really like if things are really remote, there's ways to even,
Yeah, we can get information
get a
out
smoke
of the area.
signal out there.
If we really have a major deal, which hopefully we never do. But
right.
it's always
These are
possible.
hopefully never, but it's sure nice when there's a situation. I mean, and that's just it. If there's missing people in the mountains, or even as something simple, if they're running like a 5K or something around here, the ham guys are very much in part of that and helping out, and maybe not in the foreground, but they're out in the distance, keeping an eye on things.
Well, that's it, and that's like I'm part of search and rescue also. I'm in Chavis County's off-road search and rescue, and a good bunch of people I'm involved with. But basically, I'm comm support. So, again, that skill is being applied. Is applied there, and just different. Of course, the Skywarn, just wherever.
I'm sure countless people have been rescued because they went camping in the mountains up there in Capitan, that area, and got turned around, lost, and cell phone ain't working, nothing ain't working up here. And guys,
I could tell you a personal story about that, but I won't do that right now.
but anyway, I just saw time. Mark April 16th is the Skywarn Spotter Training meeting. It's going to be 6 to 8 p.m. at the Daniels Leadership Center, which is there on the NMMI campus, 100 West 19th Street. Completely free. Do they need to RSVP or just show up, or would you like
show up?
Just
no,
come
no
on
pre-registration or anything. No,
okay,
just
come, bring yourself, and if you want to take notes or something like that, or whatever, and then come on out and learn and take this information. And if you want to get more involved with the Skywarn program, awesome. Talk with Jim. We can get you registered, set up, and everything else. But if you just take this class just to have this in your back pocket in case you ever been out in the desert, which you're gonna at some point. You think, oh, that doesn't look right. Maybe I ought to check in on that.
Right. That's
Awesome.
good class. Come on out. We'd love to see you.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Jim, as always, and we'll see you next time. All right.
Thank you, Mike. Appreciate you.
And we appreciate you and all your ham guys. You don't realize how much the good stuff these folks do behind the scenes.
Well,
so we appreciate it.
Yeah, and we just love to do it. It's just fun.
Yeah. I know it's for you, it's all a bunch of fun games, and it's an excuse to buy more equipment. I get all that.
I told people, I said I'm a frequency junkie.
Oh yeah, don't get me wrong. This is their free moments are in the basement working on this stuff. That's what they love doing. But thank you, Jim. I appreciate it.
Appreciate you.
All right, 7:56. Let's pause for news before more news. Actually, I'll take news and a quick break. Don't go away.
more than 11%. Boeing 737 MAX jet production declining sharply over the past several weeks after regulators raised factory checks. Boeing assembly lines slowing to ensure safety standards are met. Boeing stock is still sinking, down 16% so far this year. Please join me twice each weekday for the Lou Dobbs Business Report right here.
Business news you need to know. Keep listening for more. This is the Lou Dobbs Business Report.
Getting your biggest tax refund from Jackson Hewitt can lead to some spirited reactions.
Jackson Hewitt! Yeah!
Jackson Hewitt is so sure they'll get you your biggest refund that if they don't, you get your money back plus $100.
Jackson Hewitt! Yeah!
Switch to Jackson Hewitt and we'll beat what you paid last year, even if you filed online.
Yeah!
Ain't nothing to it. Switch to Jackson Hewitt and pay less for tax prep, guaranteed. Proof of prior year payment required when filing. New clients only at participating locations through April 7th. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com.
You've heard of a Four Seasons room, but have you heard of a Four Seasons window? Jennifer here from Trustmark Roofing and Windows. It might surprise you to learn many windows are built to handle only the cold or only the heat, but not both. In Southeast New Mexico, one or the other doesn't cut it. That's why Trustmark windows are built to handle our Four Seasons climate, the scorching summers, the bone-chilling winters, and everything in between. Special glass coating blocks extreme UV rays. A stout frame prevents warping from the extreme weather changes, and insulated glass is like putting your home in a giant styrofoam cooler in the winter and keeps cold out and warmth in, and in the summer it keeps heat out and cool in. For our Four Seasons weather, get Four Seasons windows. Call today for your no-obligation spring window assessment, 575-755-7663, or visit TrustmarkRoofPros.com.
Trustmark Roofing, we put people first.
To plant or not to plant? That is the question. Hi, this is Jim Gill from Roswell Seed Company. Our tomato plants and pepper plants are ready to go. If you plant them now, you might have homegrown tomatoes and peppers before anyone else, or the frost might kill them. As Clint Eastwood would say, do you feel lucky? You'll either be the smartest gardener in the county, or you'll get to replant them all over again. I say go for it. You'll get more practice and we'll get more business. This is Jim Gill from Roswell Seed Company, and I apologize to William Shakespeare.
Bill Cunningham is now in Roswell on 106.5 FM, KEND Roswell.
And we're closing on 9 o'clock. Town Hall News coming up next. We'll be back on the other side of news. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters. Stay tuned.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. President Biden and Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu will speak today for the first time since the Israeli airstrike that killed 7 aid workers in Gaza. Israel's military says it was a tragic mistake amid the fog of war. Muslim Americans remain upset with President Biden over his response to the Israel-Hamas war.
The president's plans for an iftar dinner this week were scaled back when invited Muslim American leaders refused to attend. A meeting was scheduled instead to hear from the Arab community. One of the attendees was Dr. Thayer Ahmad, a Palestinian-American ER doctor. He told CNN that he walked out of the meeting with President Biden and Vice President Harris after telling them what he witnessed while treating hospital patients in Gaza. Greg Clugston, the White House.
New Wall Street Journal poll shows former President Trump leading Mr. Biden from 2 to 8 percentage points among voters in Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Arizona, as well as in Georgia, Nevada, and North Carolina. The only maritime shipping terminal operating in the Port of Baltimore is preparing to process an influx of ships as crews continue clearing the mangled wreckage of the Francis Scott Key Bridge. Maryland Governor Wes Moore.
We have opened 2 temporary channels that can and are focusing on supporting commercial traffic.
It's those temporary channels that will allow commercial vessels to get around the bridge debris that's blocking the port's main channel. An early spring nor'easter hammering the northeast with heavy snow, rain, and high winds. Some northern reaches expected to get up to 2 feet of snow. More than 680,000 homes and businesses were without power this morning from West Virginia to Maine. Police say a falling tree in a New York City suburb killed a woman in Westchester County late yesterday afternoon. Watching Wall Street, the Dow up 166 points, NASDAQ ahead 138. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Everybody wants cheap airfare, but where do you find it?
You call Low Cost Airlines. Their prices are direct from the airlines, and they're so low you can't find these fares published anywhere. They specialize in cheap flights, discount hotel rooms, cheap car rental rates, and great package deals anywhere around the world. Wherever you want to go, they can help you get there cheaply and with a best price guarantee. If you want the lowest prices on your airline tickets or other travel services, call now. That's right, call. That's the only way to get these rates. Experts are standing by 24/7 to get you the cheapest airfare and hotel rates available. So don't wait. Call right now for the lowest travel prices anywhere and for great last-minute travel deals too.
Call 866-755-5300. That's 866-755-5300. Again, that's 866-755-5300. Call us right now.
The opposition in Myanmar claims responsibility for a mass drone strike on the country's embattled military government and the heavily guarded capital.
This was a bold, though largely symbolic attack by the opposition on the Myanmar capital. There are no reports of significant damage, and the military says it was able to shoot down 7 of the drones. But the main airport in Naypyidaw had to be closed after one drone dropped a bomb close to a runway. The attack follows a series of defeats suffered by the military junta in recent months at the hands of opposition armed groups, which have taken control of large stretches of territory.
The BBC's Jonathan Head. Authorities say a nighttime Russian attack using Iranian-designed drones has killed 4 people and wounded 12 in Kharkiv, Ukraine's second-largest city. The Kremlin's forces in recent months have stepped up their aerial barrages of Ukraine, hitting urban areas as well as the power grid. News and analysis, townhall.com. Though he likes Donald Trump, Senator Ron Johnson of Wisconsin insists he does not see himself as Mr. Trump's running mate.
Senator Johnson is heaping praise on the former president after riding with him on Air Force One and attending a Trump rally on Election Day.
You're seeing the real Donald Trump in these rallies. I mean, the guy is just entertaining. He's funny. Like I say, there's substance in those rallies, but there's a lot of good humor.
But Johnson tells the Salem Radio Network he has no future in a likely Trump White House.
I would be replaced by probably a Democrat senator.
Senator Johnson was interviewed by the Salem Radio Network. Bob Agnew reporting.
A judge rejecting Mr. Trump's bid to delay his April 15th criminal trial in New York until the Supreme Court rules on the presidential immunity claims he raised in another case. This is the so-called hush money case. The Trump legal team had asked to adjourn the New York trial indefinitely until Mr. Trump's immunity claim in his Washington, D.C. election interference case is settled. More on these stories, townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The demolition, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 9 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 3.
Tracing Piernos
of Mornings with Mike Winters, right here on 106.5 of Roswell's Talk FM. Happy Thursday, everybody.
Yes, indeed.
Hope your Thursday's going well.
Quite nice, quite stylish.
Yeah, absolutely. Weather's nice right now.
Yeah, it's the prime time of spring.
And I think today we'll get a little breezy today, but I think tomorrow and Saturday are the more concerning days for wind.
Roy was sitting here, wasn't he?
I believe Roy. Did Roy sit there? I think, no, Thomas was. T-Beard was.
He dropped my chair. Okay. That or this chair has a leak. I can't tell which.
It could be.
A hydraulic leak.
It could be.
Slowly slipping down over a period of time.
That's right. The gas is going out.
Yeah. You can't expect an old chair like this to hold its gas forever.
That's right. I'm degassing. Excuse me while I degas.
Degas this out.
But, I think weather-wise, today's all right. It's supposed to be 80s and not too windy. And then, like, tomorrow and Saturday is supposed to get a little nice. That's what I hear. Anyway.
Should be nice.
Yeah.
I was explaining off air.
He hit me with a question, like, right before we went on air, and I was like, no, I don't know anything about this.
Okay, so here's the whole of it. Warner Brothers produced a movie called Coyote versus Acme.
Okay.
Fully produced, animated. It was done. It was in the can.
Okay.
And in a very similar situation to what they did to the Batgirl movie from a year ago, David Zaslav and Warner Brothers decided we would rather shelve this movie, delete the files, and use it as a tax write-off.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Why?
This movie was completely
Is it that
done.
bad?
And that's the thing. Everybody was like, well, it must be a terrible movie. The people that actually got to see it say it's a cinematic masterpiece. It's like it's the best Looney Tunes crossover movie they've ever done. The cast is phenomenal. Will Forte was in it. Like everybody that has seen this movie said it was the best the best Looney Tunes movie they've ever seen.
Okay.
And they still shelved it. Like they were what Zaslav offered to do was before he's like, okay, maybe we won't take the tax write-off. We'll put it up for sale if a studio wants to purchase the rights to you to sell this movie.
Yeah.
But they pitched it up like $30 million from what it was worth. They had pitched
they made it not worth anybody's while.
Originally it was like an $80 million asking price, and they pitched it up to $110 million, and so nobody wanted it. So then they're like, okay, cool, we'll tax write-off, and they got $120 million off of it.
Wow.
But then they delete all the files. The movie basically ceases to exist. And people who have seen it, it's got John Cena was in it, Will Forte was people who have seen it said it was great.
Interesting. I wonder what's going on there. There's something different. It doesn't make sense to me. There's something.
Admittedly, Zaslav has not made friends since Discovery took over Warner Brothers.
Like, is there something criminal in this thing that they're trying to cover up? Because that feels that to me.
Basically, every one of these streaming services that had all these lofty goals and high promises and all that, the realism is starting to come full circle. And people who were at the top of these streaming companies are realizing we're not making the money that we thought we would. Nobody ever posts a profit, And Zaslav and Discovery, when they bought Warner Brothers, they came in and just started slashing. Like 40 years worth of Looney Tunes cartoons were just thrown away because they didn't want to pay for the licensing anymore.
Wow.
A bunch of shows that were being produced, halted production. A bunch of stuff that they had talked about doing, they just said, nah, we're not going to do that. And it's a whole mess.
But to me, that one's done.
Yeah.
It's in the can. It's done. All you got to do is release it.
That's what I'm saying.
And it's Looney Tunes. It will make money.
It will. Absolutely it would have. And there's still like talk of maybe someone having either
I'm about
the
to say,
files
like,
or,
I feel like somebody's got a copy of it somewhere sitting in some basement or something. You know what I mean? Like, is it gone? Nah, nothing's ever really gone in this world.
That's
Somebody's
true.
got something,
But I would be very, very curious to see this movie.
You know what? This could be the biggest marketing ploy, and they're going to ride this gravy train out, and then all of a sudden, guess what we found?
That is true.
The lost tapes.
They
And
very
they're
well could be.
It could be a genius marketing plan that we just don't see yet.
Guerrilla marketing at its finest.
Because to me, makes no sense that you're going to take something as tentpole as that and just delete it. Say, nah, we're not going to do anything with it.
Like everybody who has talked about the Batgirl movie that they did the exact same thing to a year ago, they said it stunk. It made total sense for them to get rid of it because they had this goal. They wanted to do something, and it didn't come out like they wanted.
And let's face it, Looney Tunes is going to draw bigger than Batgirl.
Yeah.
It's a more universally loved platform. I mean, people grew up to it. Or Batgirl, yes. But in the big scope of things, in all things Batgirl's not the top tier either. So
it goes man, boy, girl.
Where Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner thing was one of the top Looney Tunes cartoon bits. I mean, right behind Bugs Bunny and Elmer Fudd was Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote.
And that's the thing of all like the Looney Tunes that people have like, oh, well, that one's more controversial. I didn't really like the bugs and Daffy.
Yeah.
Roadrunner and Coyote is ubiquitous.
Yeah.
I've never talked to anybody that was like, oh, I hated those cartoons.
Yeah.
Everybody likes those.
The only thing I ever remotely hear negative now is one of the characters that Slowpoke Rodriguez.
Slowpoke
That was the
Rodriguez.
one character that they put on a back burner now because some people think, well, that might be that one.
It is a bit stereotypical.
Yeah.
Admittedly, I'm mad that I spent so much time learning how to do a Slowpoke Rodriguez impression, knowing I can never do it in 2024. Is not fair to anybody.
Well, I like that. Was one of my favorite characters because, yeah, he's slow physically, but he's the smartest guy in the room 9 times out of 10. Like, he's the one that says, I wouldn't do that. You know what I mean?
Admittedly, Pepe Le Pew also did he stepped on a few toes. Admittedly. He was sort of the Harvey Weinstein of the Looney Tunes.
Oh,
canon.
yeah, he was a straight up just stalker.
But that's
Pepe
what
Le Pew was a stalker.
That's what always got me about Pepe Le Pew was the girl cat with the paint on her conveniently on her back would be scrambling as fast as she could go. Here comes Pepe, just boing, boing, boing. But he always caught up.
Yeah.
It's like in monster movies when the killer is slowly plotting, but somehow he catches up to you.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, it's cartoons.
Yeah.
We got to suspend, some of that disbelief. But
it was,
But Pepe Le Pew was a straight up stalker. Yeah.
yeah. He's been quietly pushed back in Looney Tunes.
Yeah. That
stuff.
Of all cartoon characters that be Me Too, probably Pepe was the one that probably should be Me Too.
Mm-hmm.
That poor cat. I felt bad for that cat. Every cartoon. I was like, just get rid of the stripe. It's like,
go find some water.
Or just yell, I'm a cat.
Stop spending so much time around open paint cans and brushes that haven't been washed.
All right? Something's on you.
This is your fault. You're asking for it. If you hadn't worn that stripe down your back, you wouldn't know.
Here we go.
Exactly.
Dress all complaints of Sean Small.
Exactly. She was dressed up like she wanted it.
Right. But yeah,
If she didn't want it, she wouldn't have had that stripe on her.
I mean, that cartoon really has a lot of holes after you start watching it from an adult brain.
That's not one you want to analyze.
Maybe that's one, because I'm sure each of these cartoons have a different creator, right? I mean, Mel Blanc, but I'm sure there's a guy that created the character and wrote it and said sold it and everything else. All I'm saying is the Pepe Le Pew guy that's pitched that one might want to check his history.
Take a look at his files.
Check him out.
Do some digging.
He might have a few skeletons.
Yeah.
Just a hunch. Crystal Noble patiently waiting for us to stop talking about Looney Tunes.
I was like, I think she was enjoying it, actually.
But she's joining us wearing her Humane Society hat today, and we'll get an update from her on what's going on at the Humane Society. Later on in the hour, we'll get you up to date with news of the local variety, your Wall Street business update, and whatever else we can come up with for this hour of the show. It is 9:15. Time for your weather. That's not all, folks.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Get ready for some pretty gusty winds starting tomorrow and through the weekend. We have a low-pressure trough moving into the area. No rain with that. Low 80s and fairly calm wind today. We'll be getting sunshine, clear and mid-40s for the overnight hours. And then tomorrow, mostly sunny, mid-80s, and wind gusting to about 45 miles an hour. Will stay very windy through the weekend. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 52 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity's at 31%. Winds currently out of the north at 3 miles per hour. Sunny and 83 for a high today. Not too bad. Winds for us, not too bad. Out of the northeast, 5 to 10 this morning. Shifting to the south and increasing 10 to 15 for the afternoon. So for us, not too bad. Tonight, mostly clear, overnight low of 44 degrees, south winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. Those winds will drop down 5 to 10 after midnight tonight. Friday, warmer and breezy. 83 once again and sunny for tomorrow. Winds out of the south early 5 to 15 miles per hour, but as the day progresses, winds increase 15 to 25, gusting as high as 35 miles per hour. Friday night, mostly clear, 49 for an overnight low. Winds will remain breezy out of the south, 15 to 25. Gusting as high as 35 miles per hour. And then Saturday, they use patchy blowing dust to describe Saturday. For the afternoon, sunny, and only 66 for a high, so it's going to be a lot cooler on Saturday. Winds will be out of the west early, 20 to 25 miles per hour, increasing 30 to 35, gusting as high as 45 miles per hour later Saturday. Saturday night, we're looking at clear skies with an overnight low of 38. Winds will remain breezy. Sunny 73 for Sunday, and mostly sunny 78 when you head back to work and school on Monday. All right, 9:17, we're going to take about a 3-minute break, and then Crystal Noble with the Humane Society will join us. Don't go away.
Have you ever had moments when you doubted God? Maybe you were facing an overwhelming challenge and you failed. Possibly you thought God didn't care about your situation and let you suffer unjustly. Have you ever stood at a freshly dug grave wondering why God didn't do something to change the situation? My guess is that everyone doubts God at some point in their lives. How does God feel about the questions that arise out of those doubts? How do we keep believing in the midst of our questions? In the New Testament, there's a man who's famous for doubting the resurrection of Jesus. He's often called Doubting Thomas, but I'd like to change his name to Honest Thomas. He was willing to admit his doubts and ask some hard questions. What's interesting is that Jesus answered all of his questions, and his love for Thomas never wavered even in the midst of them. He'll do the same with our doubts and our questions. All he asks is for us to trust him in return.
Join us at the Country Club Road Church of Christ for worship at 10 a.m. on Sunday, located on the corner of Country Club and Washington in Roswell.
Get your tickets now as Red Zone presents A Night with C.J. Stroud, Saturday, April 13th at the Bulldog Pit in Artesia. Previously announced as A Night with Jason Witten, Jason became unavailable, so C.J. Stroud stepped up to take his place. C.J. is the 2024 Offensive Rookie of the Year with the Houston Texans and two-time Heisman Trophy finalist. Admission is free, but you must have a ticket to enter. Jason Witten printed tickets are still good, and remaining tickets are available at the Artesia Chamber of Commerce. This invitation is courtesy of H.F. Sinclair. Excited about C.J. Stroud coming to Artesia.
The Clovis Music Festival is back from April 18th through the 20th, and it's bigger than ever. 3 epic nights of bands and entertainment await you at the Curry County Event Center. Starting Thursday at 7 p.m., immerse yourself in the Pink Floyd Laser Spectacular, followed up Friday night at 7 with Mickey and the Motorcars, followed by country sensation Kip Moore. Don't miss Bowling for Soup Saturday at 7 p.m., followed by the legendary Gin Blossoms. Secure your tickets now at clovismusicfestival.com/tickets and be part of the excitement. The Clovis Music Festival 2024, brought to you in part by the City of Clovis Lodgers Tax. Don't miss out on the music event of
Rosa,
the year.
have you decided where you're going to college yet?
There's so many choices. I'm still not sure.
Well, I've decided to attend the University of New Mexico. It's the only Research One university in the state. It's the flagship, and their academic programs are among the best in the nation.
The University of New Mexico? Can I still apply?
Of course. UNM is New Mexico's best university, and residents of New Mexico get preference in admission. Apply now, and we'll attend UNM together.
The University of New Mexico, New Mexico's University of Opportunity. Apply today at unm.edu.
Foot and ankle problems are often agonizing, but they don't have to be. At Artesia General Hospital, we're passionate about helping every patient return to optimal mobility with confidence and comfort. Our board-certified podiatrists, Dr. Jennifer Chow and Dr. Michael Krupa, provide a full spectrum of services ranging from routine foot care and pain relief to customized treatment plans and leading-edge surgeries. Visit artesiageneral.com/foot care to request your appointment today.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Men are 6 times more likely to be struck by lightning than women. That's because men are 6 times more likely to wear a tinfoil hat in a thunderstorm. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 20 minutes after 9 o'clock. And joining us in studio this morning wearing her Roswell Humane Society hat. I was trying to get Roswell out and it wasn't coming out. Roswell Humane
You're going to have
Society
to
hat.
run a mixed Roswell Humane Society.
Yeah. Well, I kept saying Roswell and I'm like, Humane Society here.
You're like, what?
Yes.
What comes after Roswell?
Humane Society. But, she does pop in with Roswell Seed here from time to time, too.
I do.
And of course, Roswell Seed's always been a big supporter of the Humane Society and what they do. And Jim Gill always took care of the Roswell Humane Society. And that and the Historical Society were, I think, his 2 big passion projects for over the years.
Agriculture, yes.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
for his philanthropic kind of stuff that he never really told people about, just did. So,
yep.
But that being said, Humane Society does have some good news.
We do.
You after all the construction and renovations, you're finally seeing some conclusions on that.
No more noise above.
Good. The roof
It's
is
nice
officially
and quiet. Well, okay, it's not really quiet, but it's a new quiet.
Well, it's dogs. Yeah, dogs
Yeah,
and
it's
cats.
a new quiet.
Yeah, but it's not hammering and drilling and sawing and all the noises of construction.
Yeah.
Well,
So
good.
our roof is complete.
Excellent.
We are still asking for donations to help cover the
Still got
cost.
to pay for it.
Yeah. Yeah. They're generous to us, but not that generous.
Right. They're not doing it for free. So if you'd like to
No.
donate, there's multiple ways you can do that.
Yes.
If you go directly to the Humane Society's website, roswellhumane.org, you'll find a link there to donate. If you shoot a message through Facebook, someone will definitely say, hey, I'd like to make a donation. Can I drop off a check or something? Someone will be happy to make arrangements for that to happen. And of course, if you're just coming in to check out animals or the thrift store and want to make a donation while you're there, that would be awesome too. So
Speaking of thrift store,
yeah.
Since they were closed last week for some spring cleaning, and then since we got our new roof, our air conditioners got put on a platform.
Okay.
So we had to do some work to extend the vents down.
The ducts and everything, the duct work and all that.
So
Yeah.
they got all that taken care of.
Good.
Looks really good.
So it's
They
nice and cool in there again.
It will be. But they did a whole bunch of rearranging. I was so lost. I was like, whoa, wait, this isn't where it's supposed to
Is
be
this
at.
the same room?
So it is completely rearranged.
All right.
And they have so much stuff that they were able to pull out of storage and make room for.
So a lot of new items currently on the shelves
everything on
right
the
now.
store is completely new.
Wow. So
everything.
So even if you miss new stuff Wednesday,
Yes.
which is the new stuff that day when they reopened, but they opened at. So they're closed Monday and Tuesdays for restocking, cleaning, resupplying, getting everything. So Wednesday's the day that they generally put new stuff that come onto the shelves, make that. And so Wednesday mornings when they open at 10 a.m., you always have your 10 o'clock crowd that's there to see the new stuff. Well, all of it's new, which means the 10 o'clock crowd didn't get it all yesterday. That means there's plenty of new stuff still
Yes.
there, too.
So as our weather is warming up, I know we still have some cooler days ahead. But they brought out summer wear.
Awesome.
So they've got bathing suits.
And you'll wear it one day a week, and then you'll start the day in your winter coat, and then by the end of the day, you're wearing your summer clothes.
Pretty much.
So you're gonna need more clothes. Just
We're in the season of where you have to wear all clothes seasons in one day.
Start the jackets and end in shorts.
Yep. Bathing suits, women's, men's, kids, all.
Yeah.
They have a Hoyer lift.
Okay.
So for the people that don't know what a Hoyer lift is, it's that medical lift. So when you are incapable of getting yourself up and down, it's to help somebody easily get you up and down without hurting their back.
Okay.
And they have that. They have it priced at $500.
Okay.
I
imagine you try to buy one of those.
$3,000.
I was about to say you try buying them new, and they're probably 4 times that price.
Yeah, I think they're valued at like $3,000.
Okay.
They have an electric scooter, brand new batteries because we got batteries for it to make sure it worked.
Okay.
They have that priced at $1,200.
And again, trying to get one of those new is about 4 or 5 times that. So
they are.
Yeah.
Because it's the one that goes like 30 miles an hour down the road.
Okay, so it's a higher end.
Yeah, it's a go-go scooter.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if insurance cover those at a lot of places, or I don't know how all that works.
Because you're supposed to stay on sidewalks.
Yeah.
But I don't think medical insurance covers the cost of those.
Okay, so people probably have to pay out of pocket for those.
They
which
do.
Means, you have to finance it, or maybe you can find one at a perfectly good one at a place I know, like the Humane Society.
Yes. Anybody looking for new furniture, they have a very nice wooden king-size bed frame.
Oh, nice.
It does have the box springs, but not the mattress.
So you need mattresses, but if you're looking for a new set.
And it's real wood. It's not pressed wood, plywood. It is real wood.
And it's a normal king, not a California king
Just a
or
king.
something. Gotcha. So if you got a regular king-size bed and need a bed frame, or want to change your bed frame.
Right.
Got one here, very inexpensive.
And they have it for $150.
Yeah, because I'm sure most of those are probably a grand easy or more. So
We just bought one not so long ago, and I was like, dang it. I was like, why you got to get the stuff in after I go buy it?
beds can be very expensive when you buy a brand new bed, especially a king size bed, whether you're spending thousands of dollars for that bed. So, and usually, and it's not all mattress either all the time. Usually the box spring and the mattress are the more expensive parts, but the framework and all that you can easily pay a couple grand for that, just for that stuff.
Right,
depending
especially
on what
if
you
you're
get.
wanting like real wood.
Mm-hmm. Stuff that's solid.
Yeah, you want solid structures?
Things that don't creak and stuff when you get on them.
Not the old metal frames.
Yeah.
Curtains. So if you're looking to change your decor in the house because you want to make it more bright and airy, they've got a ton of curtains.
Well, seasons change. Some people like to go with the seasons, and now we're getting in spring and summer. They're going to change their decor to match that kind of thing. So, come on down to the thrift store. They got a lot of.
They have a lot of what do they call them? Curtain hangers. Sorry, curtain rods. I'm on
curtain rods and all that. Yeah,
curtain rods. So if you need a change in, decor style, actually, they have a lot of curtain rods too.
Okay.
As for clothing, shorts. They've pulled out shorts for men, women, kids, everything.
And I know, you're going to see the department stores selling them now too, but they're not on sale. They're high end. They're higher priced right now because, demand's higher.
Quite ready.
Yeah, and so before that, the sales. So if you need shorts now, you're probably going to get them pennies on the dollar, and they probably were worn
Unless
once.
they're marked, they're normally like $2 a pair.
Yeah, I mean, you're dropping $20-$30 for a pair of shorts at a department store.
Right.
Yeah.
New shoes. They completely restocked all the shoes. Boots, sandals, dress shoes, tennis shoes, all of the above, house shoes.
Yeah.
It's all completely new stock.
Especially,
like I said, everything in the store is completely new items.
Men, fellas, let me tell you this. Every man, even if you don't wear dress clothes often, I get it. Like me, I don't. My day is t-shirts and sweatpants and stuff. Most of that. Every once in a while, I got to wear clothes that are for adults. Every man, regardless of age, whether if you're a teenager till you're 137 years old, every man should have a good pair of dress shoes and a suit. And
for that one time.
Well, you never know when you
occasion.
need job interviews, funerals, weddings, things like that. I get it. And problem is, buying those brand new are expensive.
They are.
Even if you get a quote unquote lower end suit, you're still dropping $400 or $500 for it.
They actually have a suit that they have priced at like $40.
Yeah. And so brand new, even for a suit that's not Armani or something, you're still dropping $500 for it. Dress shoes, same way. You drop $100 easy for a pair of dress shoes.
Yes.
You'll find these things at the thrift store for $20-$30
or less.
Or less, and then you can have it in your closet and ready. Obviously, pick one that's your size, but rather than because you need it, because you never know when there's going to be a time when you need that, and usually the time you need it, you're like, oh, I can't afford a suit right now. I can't afford this or that, and then you're scrambling, trying to borrow, trying to rent, whatever you're doing. Go to the thrift store, check it out. If you don't find a suit that suits your needs, come back next week and check. But keep coming back and looking and getting, and then there's the suit, and now you put it in your closet and you have it for it as long as you want it here. Now, obviously, if you get a suit that's a little dated and if it was good in the 70s, then maybe that suit is probably not one you want to wear, but one that looks, in modern times.
You don't want to be Ron from Harry Potter.
If your collar is super huge, then that's probably outdated.
Right. If you got shoulder pads that make you look like you got actual football shoulder pads on.
If it looks good with a paisley shirt, probably not the best.
Right.
And conversely too, but I'm a dude, so I think of dudes. But women, same, because women don't think like this in men. This is a man thing where, you don't own a suit unless you need a suit. Somebody died, unless your job is where you wear a suit every day, you probably, you know what I mean? And most of us here in town aren't wearing suits every day. I mean, there's a few, but most of us aren't. And so I know everyone, I bet you can ask Sean, does he have it? Probably not. You know what I mean? What I'm saying is because you don't need it. Why would you have it if you don't need it? I'm saying you're going to need it at some point. Go get you one at the thrift store, very inexpensive. And that way, when that time comes, it's in the closet and ready to go.
And just so you know, if you are of different than average size, when it comes to purchasing said dress coats or sports coats or suits, and you have to go to special stores, they are 3 times the price.
Oh, absolutely.
So if you are looking for one and they don't have one, talk to Camille.
Yeah.
Just say, hey, I'm looking to get one of these. This is the size I am. If one comes in, call me.
Yeah.
And they'll definitely keep you in mind.
Absolutely. Yeah, they if you be on the lookout, they always are, because I'm sure you already have a list of customers that collect certain things or collectibles, maybe they like Hummels or whatever it is. And I'm sure they probably put their bee in Camille's bonnet. It's like, hey, if you get a new one of the Hummels, let me know and I'll come check it out.
They do. And Camille has a little cork board on the wall that when people ask for something or she's scheduling something, she just pins it to the cork board.
Right. And that way when it comes in, you can go to the cork board and say, hey, guess what came in? So, yeah.
Other new items that they got are some really nice area rugs.
Okay.
And they're not huge. Like some of them are like probably the size of this table here.
It's probably good for a living room or something if you want to put it,
or under
around
dining
the
room
couches
table
or under the coffee table.
If people still do that.
Yeah, the dining room.
Okay, I'm trying to think. I'm like, they also have like if you're doing some home renovations, they have a brand new in-box bottom cabinet.
Oh, okay.
So if you're looking to do a little bit of updates in your kitchen and you need a bottom cabinet, this thing is still in the box.
Oh, wow.
Brand new.
Okay.
Unopened.
Excellent. So that someone probably find a need for that.
A ton of jewelry. From costume jewelry to kids jewelry to
more high-end
jewelry.
Okay.
They have a lot
Excellent.
of jewelry.
So come shop together. Bring the kids, let them shop for their first jewelry if if they while mom or dad is shopping for the adult jewelry kind of thing. Yeah.
Right. And books, if you need books or kids books are always high.
You go
supply.
to if you need, especially for your children, you could literally buy an entire library of books for your child and probably do it for like $10.
The cost of what it would be for one book at a regular bookstore.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, obviously for adults, if you're constantly reading stuff, you it behoove you to do it because you're going to pay 50 cents a buck for a book, and But for kids that read a lot and you want to, and I get it. You buy a bunch of Dr. Seuss or a bunch of things, and next thing you know, you're dropping $200-$300 on these books.
And you got 5 books.
Yeah, and let's face it, kids aren't what we call gentle with books and things. They beat them up. They draw in them. They use them, and so why spend $200 when you can buy all of that for $10?
Pretty much.
And it's not so upsetting when the kid decides to draw a picture in one of the pages or rips out a page by accident or whatever it is.
He gets excited and goes, look, and then he's holding the page and the book goes,
and it's no big deal. And if the book somehow does survive your child and is still in good shape, donate it back and let someone else do it.
Right? The book of luck.
Yeah. Because eventually they will outgrow those books and they're going to move on to other things. But
they do.
But it's such a service for your kids to give them those books and not break the bank doing it, Get creative, and if you've read every book in there, take your kid to the library and let them read free there.
They have a little kid zone.
Exactly. Teenagers too. Like your teens, they got a whole section for books and things that
they used to have bean bags when I was a kid.
Yeah. I don't think they're popular anymore.
I love bean bags.
I do too. But problem with bean bags, they all leak. At some point, every bean bag leaks.
Well, yeah, because everybody just plops on them.
Yeah.
So
you're picking up those little white
only take so
BB
much
things, styrofoam BBs for the rest of your life. It was, and I don't even know if they use those anymore. If they've got
they use like the packing foam. Like
the peanuts.
Peanuts.
Oh wow, that doesn't seem comfortable.
They're not.
Sounds loud.
It's not the good bean bag anymore. Yeah. It's not bean bag. It's peanut bag.
You get grandmas to make some. My grandma made some for us when we were these big bean bag pillows, and they were way better than any beanbag pillow. First they didn't have the beans in them. They had whatever stuffing or whatever it was.
Whatever your grandma
pillows
put in it.
or whatever. Yeah, it was actual like stuffing. So, but anyway, thrift store is your friend.
But they have a lot of stuff.
Absolutely.
And when they have sales in the book room, because they do put the books on sale, when you walk in the book room, there's a clipboard hanging from the wall, and it'll say "Sell of the Day."
Okay.
And so it could be like hardback books, 5 for $10 or 10 for $1.
Yeah, just whatever special.
Whatever special is going on. It's on the clipboard on the wall right as you walk into the book room.
Excellent.
She's got magazines out, the home and garden magazines, all kinds of different little magazines. She has a man section.
Nice.
So, there's the motorcycles and men's stuff,
Chilton manuals and all.
Just not the dirty men's section.
But a lot of those Chilton, like automotive books and things like that. Stuff that dudes would be into. Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably a lot of maps. guys like maps. I don't know why we do, but we like maps.
I don't know. Don just ordered a freaking atlas, and I'm like, we have Google Maps.
I know. Guys like maps, man.
He's
Something
all-
about a map makes us feel manly. I don't know what it is.
He goes, I just prefer to look at it this way, and I'm like, I can zoom in, and
Well,
you can look at it that way, and he's
yeah.
like, it's not the point. So.
Well, but he also grew up like me in an age where you like if you were going on a road trip, you like pencil out the map and the line. You know what I mean?
Yes, okay. So my
I think it's
father made us do the same crap, but
yeah. It's a guy
Update.
thing. It's a power guy thing. You have the map and you feel like you're Magellan. I don't know. I don't know. It's just a
the
guy thing.
atlas is like this big when you open it up.
Yeah. It's not convenient in any way, but
They are not. They are a big old.
in our heads, it feels this is the way.
Oh Lord. Oh, you had to go there, didn't you? This is the way.
Oh man! But so whatever your proclivities are, if you're into Chilton manuals or home and gardens, she's got you covered.
She does, and there's the cooking section. It's basically like a small library, and
Nice.
she even has it alphabetized. Abby spends a lot of time keeping that book room stocked and organized and dusted. She spends so much time taking care of that book room.
Good deal. Yeah. Well, as she does with the entire. That's I would imagine.
She's a little librarian.
She's the reason that everything's so great in there and all. It's and that's just it. The
And if
people that
you
do
are
that,
looking for a specific book,
Let 'em
and
know.
you don't happen to catch her down there while she's stocking,
Yeah.
tell Camille, say, hey, can you give this note to Abby? I'm looking for this book. Here's my phone number.
and it'll be on Abby's radar, and as soon as
She
it
has her own little
comes
cork
across.
board, too.
Nice, very good. So please, if you don't see what you want, keep checking back. Donate too. If you've got a bunch of books and things that are just taking up space in your home that you're perfectly good, please donate them. We'll find a home for them.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of people, they're going to like the online books, the digital books, the Nooks, and all of that. But nothing beats cracking a book and then turning the page.
Mhm.
Pushing the button to turn a page just doesn't have the same effect.
Yeah, it and even and I've done both. Like I have a Kindle reader as well. Mine's that paper white one,
Mhm.
whatever. And it's convenient in some fashions, but yeah, it's not the same as having a book or everything. The only way it's convenient is if you're reading like a book series and you don't have the next book. Like you can generally through the Kindle get it like within 2 minutes. You know what I mean? Whereas an actual book, I got to go buy the book at the bookstore or go down, That's the only advantage I would give Kindle over, say, like books. To me, is that convenience of like, oh, I got to know what happens next. Oh, there it is. Where now it's like, I got to go to the library or I got to go,
I got to go on Amazon and order the book.
Yeah, exactly. So, but you're right. It's the book, and I still love a good old bookmark. Just throw in there every once in a while. Usually it's a receipt, but occasionally the library gives me.
As
a nice
a kid,
bookmark.
my mom used to get so mad at me because instead of using the bookmarks that she bought me, I fold the corner of the page.
Oh yeah, it was
Oh man, my mom. Woo.
my rule of thumb on that one. If it's a paperback, it's acceptable. If it's a hardback, you should not do that.
It didn't matter.
Right.
But pretty much everything my mom bought me as a kid was a paperback.
Yeah.
But still, my mom's like, do not fold the pages. I bought you a bookmark. And I'm like, I don't want to use a bookmark,
But I
Mom.
lose the bookmark.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't want to use a bookmark. You
And then
know,
someone else
bookmarks
opens the
were
book.
not cool.
And then the bookmark, someone else opened the book, and then the bookmark fell out, and now my page is folded. I remember exactly where it's at.
Yeah, I had every excuse in the world
I
to
did some of that too.
not use the
Yeah.
bookmark.
But please, their store's got you covered.
They do.
As far as pets go, how's the animal selection
Our
looking?
cats
like
are available for adoption.
okay, good.
So
They've
we
come
do-
out of quarantine
they have.
and
Everybody's
are
of weight.
and got their shots and everything.
We do
they
still have
need.
a few in quarantine, but they'll be coming out probably within a week or so.
Okay.
We have, I think which cats are in the cat room. We have Toots. She's a long-haired white tan tabby. She's super sweet. We have Twilight, which is a Siamese, and then we have Harlow, which is a muted calico.
Okay.
Trying to think who else is in the cat room.
Sounds like quite a few options right now.
We have some kittens, but they're not quite ready yet.
They're going to be another week or two before they're available?
Yeah.
Okay. And again, that's so they are weight heavy enough to be going to a family. That's when they're underweight, there's more complications for medical issues and things, and they don't want to saddle you with that. They want to make sure it's you getting a happy, healthy animal when you bring it home to your family. So that's why they wait until the kittens are a certain weight and everything, that they know they're going to be fine and aren't dealing with any other medical conditions or something.
Why I forget this cat's name? It's obvious. Crybaby.
Crybaby.
So Crybaby was originally adopted from us, and then she was returned. So Crybaby is particular.
Okay.
The husband and wife adopted her together, and she was fine with both of them. But eventually she grew a little bit obsessive over the husband and would not allow the wife anywhere near him.
Oh, wow. Possessive cat.
Very possessive, to the
Okay.
point to where the husband would sleep on the couch to keep the cat from attacking his wife in her sleep.
Wow. So this might be a good single person's cat.
This is
and
definitely-
single animal cat.
Yeah. Well, ironically, she doesn't care about any other cats in the room.
Oh, really? Okay.
But,
I figured she'd want to fight for attention with other cats.
well, in the house might be a different story.
Yeah.
But she definitely would do better with a single person, maybe in an apartment,
Actually, we always talk about, finding companions for older seniors and things like this.
Mhm.
And we always tell you that's a double-edged sword. It can be, but only if the person is able to take care of it.
Right.
If you get them a dog that they got to walk every day, but they're not very mobile, that's probably not the best
No.
idea to do. But a cat sometimes, and so this actually sounds like one of those cats that if you're a single, maybe older person, male, female, live by yourself, and you don't have much anything, other pets or anything around, this might be the perfect cat to fit that companion role.
She definitely needs somebody who's willing to devote time to her because she loves attention. She's very affectionate, but she became very, very possessive. The wife called and she's like, I'm the one that picked the cat out and I'm the one that wanted her. My husband was like, are you sure you want a cat? She goes, and then the thing hates me now. So she's definitely more of a male.
Okay, she's
friendly to
bonding
male.
with bonds, or males a little bit, bonding with them a little bit better.
She's fine with females, but she
Okay.
really likes males more.
But it sounds like her big thing is she needs one.
One.
Not more
Not
than
two.
one. Yeah.
Especially two that want to share the same bed.
Gotcha.
Because
And that's
her
unusual to
human.
me.
Yeah. When she told me that, I was like, are you sure?
Yeah.
And I was like, are you sure you're not having
like
a bad
I've heard
dream?
other animals fighting for that attention because shoot, my cats do that. But I've never heard like they took possession of a person and if
Yeah.
another person interacts with them that they get salty. That's
Well, I don't know. My mom's cat was like Church from Pet Cemetery. You touched my mom, that cat was like on tap. So, yeah, I've seen it a time.
I mean,
or
the
two.
only time I ever see anything remotely like that is usually like little dogs, like little Chihuahua types or something like that.
Well, she does not know she's part cat. She feels she's part Chihuahua.
Well, that might be
With
part
sharper
of it too.
claws.
I wonder if that cat's hung out with a Chihuahua at some point in its life and picked up some things.
You know what that could be? It could possibly
And animals
be.
will do that.
They do. I had a cat that would bark at me like my dogs did
Yeah.
when I would come home from work.
Well, and it's like with my cats. Like Hannah has routines and things like she flops down and all, and Bella didn't do that stuff. But now she does. Like she emulates Hannah on all this stuff. It's like, oh, that's how you get the attention. And then she,
Yeah, she's like, oh, wait,
yeah, yeah. So they will emulate each other if they
They
think
do.
that's the way they get advantages and stuff. They're smart cookies that way.
They are, and they learn. Also, they learn from our routines, our behaviors,
Mm-hmm.
and the simplest things. They're like, oh, well, if I do this, I get more of this, or if I do this, they don't like it.
Yeah, exactly.
So they learn.
Yeah, and it's no different than you give them like when you pet and love on your cats. They're giving you the clues too, what they like and don't like. So
Mhm.
if you pet in its back and it starts getting fidgety, then stop doing that. Go pet its head again. It wants the head pet.
Cats sensitive, not sensitive, but like their relaxation scratching point
Mhm.
is right under their ears or their
Mhm.
chin.
Yeah, that's
so
where I
you
get.
can never go wrong
Yeah,
there.
that's my. We're both cats. I right here is a sweet spot for both cats,
Mhm.
and then Bella particularly loves the chin. Like she will, but she loves her head rubbed. Like she's the first cat that I'll pet her head, and she stands up and pushes like her head right into your hand.
So that's a headbutt.
Yeah.
So
she want that love.
An imprinting from a cat.
Okay.
So one thing about cats is they don't normally imprint very much on humans. You see them do it a lot with other cats. Like, in the movie The Lion King, how they headbutt.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they've imprinted on each other.
Okay.
So when the cat is pushing her head on you, it's because she's imprinted on you.
Okay, so she likes me.
She loves you.
Man, my cats do love me. I know that. I am their world. Me and my wife, we are their world, and they love us. And
so yeah.
Yeah, I'm not questioning the love of my cats. I know they love. They tell me every day, more to the annoying point sometimes, but they do. Like, to be honest, it is difficult. Like when I first get home, for my wife and I to have any kind of conversation, because usually Hannah is screaming at the top of her lungs. Meow, meow. Hi, how are you today? Meow, meow. Hannah, I'll get to you in a minute. Meow, meow.
How was your day? Meow.
Yeah. So I literally have to get on the floor, pet her before I can start talking to Kim, just to have a conversation.
Okay, so not that it's funny, but it's funny because it's kind of the same thing when we get home.
Yeah.
Toby doesn't bark often. Titus does. And Titus will not stop barking until I go in and touch him and love him. And then as soon as he's got, his head scratched, chin scratched, neck scratched, whatever, then he goes to John.
Gotcha.
And then when John does all of the above, then, we can hear each other.
Then you settle down and get to the routine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's animals, man. That's what's cool about them to me. That's what makes it so much fun, is they bring so much to your life.
They
Cats,
do.
dogs, whatever your favorite is, they all do it. So
they do.
So it sounds like a good section of cats. How about the dogs right now?
We have a lot of dogs.
Okay.
A lot. I do have a transport coming up on Monday, but I'm only taking 4. Too big, too little. We still have Sapphire.
Okay.
Sorry. So she originally did go with me on the previous transport, but because she needed to be in a more quieter and calmer area, it's what they call their behavioral area.
Okay.
And it's just kind of like a
she get nervous around a lot of activity and stuff?
Not so much nervous around a lot of activity. It was probably a lot of the stress from the trip up there.
Okay.
Because she's very friendly with everybody.
Right.
But it's kind of like a decompression area.
Gotcha. She's overwhelmed.
Very overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And so she was a little too nervous to be in their general population.
Gotcha.
They didn't want to overstimulate her, but they didn't have an open kennel in the behavioral area for her to calm down, decompress, get used to the area.
They felt it'd be more harm than good to take her.
Right. So
makes sense.
But she has actually been with us over a year. She's very sweet. She's not a big dog. She's 40 pounds and she's all muscle. She loves to go on walks. The second she sees that harness, she just starts spinning in circles and gets happy.
So for the right person that wants to love on this dog, probably going to be a big 100% win for that person.
She would be.
Sounds like though that this one does have to be a little. You need more attentive. Like if you're not prepared to take care of every need of this dog, then you probably
she
should
will
look
need
elsewhere.
more time and attention until she gets adjusted and acclimated.
Yeah, like I'm saying, you got to be a little bit more patient with this dog.
When we got her, she came from a house with 5 other dogs. We got all 5 dogs.
Gotcha.
And they were not very socialized. And she was a year old when we got her.
Sounds like she's an animal that probably didn't have a lot of training interaction with humans.
No, they were left in the backyard.
Yeah, and so what she don't know, she don't know.
No.
And so she sounds like she desperately needs a routine and desperately needs some stability. And once that happens, all her little quirks will kind of go away, is what it sounds like to me. But that being said,
she needs a
when you
human
adopt
to
her,
devote the time.
You need to put in that work first. And once you do, it's going to pay off big time. But you got to dedicate, you got to be patient. You're going to have to deal with a few accidents and issues between the time the dog figures it out. You're probably going to lose a few shoes or have a few piles laying somewhere.
And you know, she's actually one of the less messy dogs in the kennel.
Sure.
She has her little area if she cannot hold it.
Well, and that's generally when they chew and do that stuff. I mean, when they're puppies, they're teething and stuff. But generally when they do it as adult dogs, they're trying to tell you something.
They're bored.
They're bored or they're stressed, they're strained, and so they're coping by doing it that way. It's not to piss you off. It's just how they're dealing with their emotions.
Right.
And if you understand that and you placate to that, you'll find less shoes and things getting chewed up. They get stress and anxiety from you leaving and everything else. That's kind of and there's tips to do that. Maybe you need to leave a shirt by their bed that smells like you so they don't get so nervous when you're gone and things. But anyway, you have to figure that out with the dog, and it takes time. And this dog sounds like you're going to have to do a little detective work to figure it out.
She'd probably do well with somebody that worked from home.
Gotcha. Yeah, someone that can devote a lot of time to the needs of this dog, which there are a lot of people out there. It's going to be a perfect dog for someone, but be prepared. You're going to have to earn its trust.
And like I said, she's not fearful. It just takes her a minute to, okay, you're new.
Sure. Well, it sounds like she's literally been a fly on the wall in a crazy situation her whole life.
She has,
at that house to obviously the Humane Society. I mean, yes, they're taken care of and everything, but there's 20 dogs barking at any given time all the time. That's
and
going
she's quiet. Yeah. She does not bark.
Yeah. So to Mel and me, once you get her in a family environment, you're going to see that personality open up and everything. I think she's institutionalized is what she is.
She's super affectionate. When she's comfortable with you,
yeah.
She leans on you. She puts her paw on your leg, and then she lays her head down.
And because, to be honest, you yourself and the people that work there are probably the only family she's known her whole. You know what I mean? Like any humans that actually
took time to
address her needs and love on her and do those kind of things.
Yes.
So you're going to have to do some of that to get her to. But once you got it, boy howdy, she's probably going to be your.
She's going to be the shadow
your
that
ride
never
or die with you.
Right.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So.
She's going to be the dog with the goggles on the motorcycle with you.
Yeah, exactly. So, but anyway, a cool dog that needs a good home that's been in the shelter way too long and deserves a life of happiness here. So come see that dog.
She's a wonderful dog.
Yeah, and then of course there's lots. And it sounds like you got a good variety of little, big, and medium size.
We do.
So whatever your favorite is, we've got now.
We have all sizes.
Yeah, all shapes and sizes. Don't forget the Humane Society because they want to make sure that you're adopting to a loving forever home for this pet. Especially if you own dogs, they're going to want to inspect your property, make sure you have proper fence, make sure there's adequate shelter and everything for the pet. Cats, not as stringent on that, but they are indoor cats. You cannot. You have to pledge not to, because otherwise. That we have a feral cat problem, and by you letting the cat roam contributes to that problem. So we strictly want to keep them indoor cats. Every pet, if it is not already spayed or neutered, will be spayed or neutered before it goes to your home. And every pet that leaves the facility has to get microchipped, whether you live in the city of Roswell or not. It does not matter. It's a Roswell City ordinance. Therefore, any animal that is adopted or purchased outside or in the city limits has to have the chip on it.
Yes.
That's the ordinance. That's what it is. So
because our business operates inside city limits, we have to follow city ordinances.
I know some people live in the county and they don't have to follow that ordinance, but if you adopt from the Humane Society, the dog will have to be chipped at your vet of your choosing.
Yes.
Before that pet comes home with you. So that's just because we have a overpopulation issue. We have a lot of problems here that we have a lot of people working on now, but still not even. You know what I mean? Like, this has been a long time problem.
It is. And
they've been addressing it for years now, but we're still not where we need to be on this.
No, and if your dog's collar happens to get torn off, ripped off, or taken off, that microchip acts as an invisible form of identity.
Yeah.
So it helps you to identify that, yes, that is my dog. You know, if your dog got stolen, you can say, scan it for a microchip.
Absolutely.
That microchip's going to come back to me.
It's one more line of defense to help you get your pet home.
Yes.
Is it 100% effective? No, but neither is a tag or anything else. It's a lot more effective than no chip or no identification whatsoever. So, to be honest, a lot of people get lucky because if the pet really roams, like you always hear those stories where the pet turns up 200 miles away and they found it because somebody chipped it and they traced it back to 200 miles away. I mean, you hear that all the time that happens. Some even crazier than that. I've heard ones where the dog was in California and ended up on the East Coast.
We had the one from Rhode Island.
Yeah. So it does happen.
It does.
So, but please understand that when we do that. So, just all the time. Is there anything else we need to mention here?
No, we're good.
Give out the hours for for both thrift store and the shelter.
The kennels are Tuesday through Saturday, 10 to 12 and 1 to 4:30.
Okay.
And then the thrift store is Wednesday through Saturday, 10 to 4:30.
Yep. Don't forget, new stuff days, Wednesdays, 10 a.m. Come meet the 10 o'clock club if you want to get in on the new stuff there. But like we mentioned in the beginning,
would help you get associated into the 10 o'clock
you know
club.
what? You bring a dozen donuts with you, they might even let you move up in line. You never know.
I'll walk you through the special entrance if you bring us donuts. No, I'm kidding.
Exactly. Hey, people can be bought, and ain't nothing wrong with that.
You know what's funny? Speaking of people can be bought, Jim used to say, I can be bought for $20 in a key lime pie. So
that's right.
My husband would laugh, and he'd be like, you'd sell me out, and he goes, for $20 in a key lime pie.
Hey, give it a try. Bring a key lime pie with you and see if you get in the door on that. I bet you do.
You might.
Very good. Well, thank you as always.
Thank you very
Krista.
much.
We'll see you next time. It is 9:57. Let's do Wall Street business update and quick break before they kick me off the radio. Don't go away.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Rich Thomason. Wall Street opened higher this morning as markets wait for more labor market data that could impact the Federal Reserve's next decision on interest rates. Along with today's weekly jobs report, tomorrow the government will issue the closely watched monthly report for March. The number of Americans applying for unemployment benefits last week rose 9,000 to 221,000. In today's early going, shares of Levi Strauss jumped 12.3% after the jeans maker beat Wall Street's first quarter sales and profit forecasts and raised its 2024 profit guidance. Also beating analyst forecast was ConAgra, the packaged food giant. Shares of the Chicago-based maker of Duncan Hines and banquet products rose 3.2% in pre-market after posting its results earlier in the day. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Rich Thomason.
Artesia, it's back. Red Zone 2024 is coming Saturday, April 13th to the Bulldog Pit, featuring a night with 2024 Rookie of the Year and two-time Heisman Trophy finalist C.J. Stroud. Doors open at 6 p.m. Event begins at 7. Tickets are free of charge, but you must have one to enter. Free tickets can be picked up beforehand at the Artesia Chamber of Commerce. Red Zone 2024 featuring C.J. Stroud is a presentation of myashley.org. For free tickets and more information about Red Zone 2024, please contact the Artesia Chamber of Commerce.
Now for your Pecos Valley News Update. I'm Jared Cirillo. Thanks for joining us this hour. Here's a look at some of the stories we're following. During Tuesday's Artesia City Council meeting, Councilor Wade Nelson reminded the public that there are currently 9 job openings at the Artesia Police Department, and he also said the committee has voted to unfreeze 3 of 6 other open positions in the Artesia Fire Department. And a reminder, there will be the Permian Basin celebration coming up on June 15th this year. The Roswell Chavez County Office of Management and the Pecos Valley Amateur Radio Club are hosting the annual Skywarn Storm Spotter training. That's scheduled for April 16th at the Daniels Leadership Center, 100 West 19th Street in Roswell on the New Mexico Military Institute campus. The free class is taught by National Weather Service meteorologists. It's open to anyone wanting to become a storm spotter. Students will learn severe weather safety, terminology, and reporting criteria. You're up to date. I'm Jared Cirillo.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. Rescuers continue to search for dozens of people a day after Taiwan's strongest earthquake in a quarter century damaged buildings and caused multiple rock slides, killing 10 people.
Of the approximately 690 people said to have been trapped or out of contact, most were guests and workers at a hotel. Authorities say they're all safe. The quake, which has injured more than 1,000, struck during rush hour Wednesday and was centered off the coast of rural mountainous Hualien County. In the eastern coastal capital of Hualien, workers used an excavator to stabilize the base of a damaged building with construction materials as some officers take samples of its exterior. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
Also at townhall.com, the number of Americans applying for jobless benefits rose to their highest level in 2 months last week. But layoffs remain at historically low levels as the labor market continues to impress despite elevated interest rates. The Labor Department reporting that filings for unemployment claims for the week ending March 30th climbed by 9,000 to 221,000 from the previous week's 212,000. This could be a big disappointment cloud coverage could interfere with Monday's total solar eclipse.
Some Americans in the path of totality may have a hard time seeing the moon as it passes in front of the sun. The National Weather Service says current forecasts show cloud cover from Texas through southern Arkansas, along with parts of the Ohio Valley. The regions with the best chances for clear skies are northern New England, upstate New York, southern Missouri, and central Indiana. This will be the first solar eclipse to be visible in the U.S. since 2017. Tasha Stevens reporting.
The Dow hit 185 points, the NASDAQ adding 165. More on these stories at townhall.com.